don't want me to bite. Who likes to be... Do people like penis bites now? Is that what's cool on the streets?
Bite my cock, burrito.
You make it hurt. That's terrible. Oh, God. That's the worst. I should tell you the story of the worst hand job I ever got sometime.
It is computers. It's terrible.
When are they gonna be perfect for me?
Exactly.
So I don't have any problems ever. Yeah.
I know what the problem is. I know what the problem is.
What?
Get him back, guy. Get him back, cause Apple just works. Let me drink my Schnapple. That's what us trendy guys drink. I go to an office where I call my boss by his first name, and he wears a sweater instead of a suit.
Wow.
That is my new
I might wear a sweater.
Hilarious TV character, Trendy McTrendy. He will be
Who
popular.
likes Macintosh.
He likes Macintosh. He'll be popular on TV, like The Situation.
Oh, yeah, he might be. A lot of things are popular on TV
that
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to say your character was shit. But.
That's my plan, because I want to get more famous in 2012, because it is the end of the year, and it is time to look forward, not back. Not back, Jonathan Holmes.
No.
Forward, okay? I've been drinking a little bit for celebrate end of year. But it's time to look forward, and in 2012, I want to be more famous, because that is the aim of being a games blogger. That is what you get into the business for. Not the money, not the chicks, which I get both of, but now I want the fame, because that is where the real power comes from. Do you think Obama was the first black president of the United States? No, it was Oprah Winfrey, because she is famous. And that's what I want to be. You see, that's me being insightful. So, my plan is to get on TV and be shit. Because that's how it is done. And I will call myself the Shituation.
The Shituation?
The Shituation. That's good, isn't it? For the new
It's very good.
That's good for the new
I don't know if you can say that. Can you say that on TV?
On FX you can, on Fox.
Oh, yeah.
They do the Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And they say shit all the time. They're just like, shit,
After
shit,
dark.
shit. Shit on
Only when the sun is down, though.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed. Shit is like a vampire in that way. Or a cat. It only comes out at night on TV. I don't know why being dark out suddenly makes it like, oh, yeah, well, that word's good when there's no sunshine.
The shit vampires. Shit. That would be a great idea for a TV show for FX, Fox TV channel. Not Fox News. The actual FX Fox that shows the Terminator Chronicles. You're up on your TV. The Sarah Palin Terminator Chronicles, as I believe it is called, and Doll's House. You see, I know my TV. I'm mostly just remembering stuff that my father-in-law watches. I don't watch TV myself.
I think those are all a good 4 or 5 years old. Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm looking forward to the next season of Firefly.
A lot of people.
Yeah, when are they doing that? Will Wheaton. Stop tracking your heels.
I think they might be related, the two Wheatons you're talking about.
I think, anyway, that I am well on the way to being shit for TV. Shit enough for television.
I've been saying you should be on TV for years. I've encouraged you many times, at least I think I have, to pursue television because there's no one like you in the video game journalism, if you want to call it that field at all, let alone someone that I know of who's breaking out in quite the way that you are. You're truly breaking out, Jim.
Oh, dude, you don't know the half of it. I am, like, proper breaking out. I think from being fat and eating burgers. Got a spot on my head that is in a place where when I raise my eyebrows, And I'm an emphatic guy. I like to emote, and it hurts because it's right on the bit of it, so it hurts.
Oh, I hate those. Yeah. They hit like a nerve or something. But yeah, there are some people that are famous in the video game community, and I don't know why a lot of them are famous, to be honest, because I don't like the stuff they do at all. But when it comes to journalists, is there anyone who's kind of that you know of that has their own show named after them and kind of a cult of personality around them who actually does the work, who actually reviews things and write news? Because, the angry video game nerd, he's famous, but he doesn't actually do anything other than complain.
Yeah, he's like a character.
Right, in a funny way. He actually likes movies more than games anyway. And Yahtzee, is he a real guy? Who?
I like the angry video game nerd. It's cool to hate on it.
He seems nice.
But
I didn't know that. I just don't think he's funny at all, but he seems like a nice guy.
I like his videos. They're okay. I confused him. I met him once at the Screw Attack convention, shook his hand. I said, I like your stuff, and I think you are better than that 0 punctuations anyway. And he didn't understand. I don't think he knows what it is. He just kind of looked at me confused with this smile like he was talking to probably the way you smile at the people you deal with at your work. That's really interesting. Can you get your fingers out of your arsehole now, please? You're getting shit on your fingers because you don't wipe your ass.
He wants to make real movies. He's more of a budding filmmaker than he is even a video game enthusiast. I don't think he really plays a lot of modern games anyway.
Yeah.
She's kind of got famous for that. Yeah.
He's a famous guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't have anything. I can say, ladies and gentlemen, I am drinking Black Label, which THQ sent me. I'm too cheap to buy my own booze.
That's booze? You're drinking booze?
They have put for celebrate end of year. It's the holiday festive podcast. I'm getting.
Do you want me to drink booze too?
Do it. We're getting in the party mood.
Okay. I'll do that. Sure. I gotta unplug my computer and walk to my kitchen.
Do it, man.
What kind of booze?
Good
I'm doing it as we speak.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about what you thought the biggest events and controversies? Because you follow that every week with the Jimquisition. You talk about something that's going on. So who's more knowledgeable than you to talk about what you think were the big trending moments in the gaming community and blah, blah, blah? I'll just drink straight vodka. How about that?
Oh! That is
Fair enough.
That woman I saw do it on Intervention yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we're going to have to intervene with you.
I don't usually drink, but I just had a birthday party and I bought all this extra booze for everyone else. Then they didn't drink it, so I brought it home. So I have so much alcohol.
I'm having some more Johnny Gat. That's what I've got. Because it's Johnny Walker Black Label. But THQ put Johnny Gat Purple Label over it for Saints Row.
I get it.
Yeah, so it's a fun joke. So I'm drinking that.
Vodka tastes bad. Did you know that?
People used to say it's good because it tastes of nothing. But then when you taste it, it's shit. It tastes like little bits of liquid shit.
Or just death. You feel like that part of your body is dying.
Yeah.
It is poison. Alcohol. It's technically a poison.
Oh yeah, you drink too much. They have to pump your stomach with a vacuum cleaner.
Is that what they do?
Yeah. They used to say things they do with the abortion machines. And I think that is wrong. Morally wrong. I think that alcohol poisoning has a right to life. And I will start posting photographs of the contents of the pumped stomachs of drunkards on a special Twitter and Facebook feed because it said in the Bible that ye shall get
overcome
leathered on booze.
Yeah, that alcohol has a right to exist in your stomach, is what you're saying.
Did you know the Bible? Did you know the Bible says that eating shrimp is an abomination?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, on the same place where it talks about on the same place where it talks about being gay is an abomination. Eating shrimp is as well. So
because it's got poop in there.
I don't know.
I don't know if you've eaten a shrimp, but you can see their poop in like a little tract.
It's the best bit.
That's why I won't eat it.
It gives it a crunchy, gritty tang. Because it's just dirt. It's just sea dirt. It's just sand from the sea.
No, it's not. It's real poop. Shrimp will eat like, a little plankton, a little stuff with nutrients and whatnot.
I like plankton. It's my favourite character on SpongeBob SquarePants.
But when the plankton has been, all the essential nutrients have been taken out, what's left is the crap of the plankton, and that's what is shrimp.
That's the best bit. That's the best bit. It gives it a nice...
Well, hey, we all have a taste. Sure. Yeah. Let's talk about, what do you think? What was the big story to you?
I was just going to talk about shrimp, though. I guess we're going to have to talk about video games for a bit.
What if they talk about shrimp? I hope somebody sampled that. That would be good. I was amazed, Jim, this year how much people went from liking Capcom a lot in 2010 when they announced Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Everyone was like, oh, thank you so much. And people liked the Street Fighter revival. People liked Mega Man 9 and 10. People liked a lot of stuff that Capcom was doing. The only thing that really... people didn't like Resident Evil 5 that much. That was the only kind of high-profile thing. And then there's a lot of games people just ignored, like Dark Void and Bionic Commando and a few other things. But in 2011, it suddenly became...
Shit.
Yeah, but people just ignored it. They didn't have high expectations. Yeah. And they're like, oh, well.
I just like Dark Void. I think people need to remember that Dark Void was shit. Don't think it was good, because some people do.
They worked so hard on it, too, and the guy who was making it seemed like a nice guy. I remember interviewing him, and yeah, it just didn't work out. But it became really popular, I want to say, for either mob mentality reasons or genuine, heartfelt reasons to vocally say that Capcom is the worst and boycott and hate and crapcom and all that. What do you make of that, Jim? What do you make of that situation?
It seems to have happened in a few places this year, because we had that. Yeah? We had it with Call of Duty. Suddenly everyone took
cool to hate them.
Yeah, last year I reviewed Call of Duty Black Ops. I gave it a 6 out of 10 because I reviewed the PC version, which was jank. And everyone attacked me for it. And they're like, oh my god, review the Xbox 360 version and give it 9 out of 10. And this year, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, I gave it 9.5 out of 10, something like that. And then it was like, oh my god! Hey man, you gotta give this game a lower score. That's what Bob Dylan was telling you. It's not a character, it's the famous Bob Dylan. I was in the Traveling Wilburys with Jeff Lynne, who was the most famous one of those, because it's the only one Jim really likes. Although he likes George Harrison a bit as well. It was his favorite Beatle. He thought John Lennon was a bit rubbish.
Whoa. But that's, you don't like John Lennon? A lot of people don't like Call of Duty. He's fine.
He's alright.
I don't hate him.
If someone says they like John Lennon, I'm not going to call them fat tits.
But if you say you like Call of Duty,
if you play,
fat tits.
They call you fat, they will all call you fat tits. They will say, "Oi, fat tits, your tits are fat."
So why is it so cool to hate that stuff now? What happened to
Skyrim as well? Skyrim.
It's cool to hate Skyrim now?
Yeah, the first week everyone loved it. It was like, oh, Bethesda, you're brilliant. Bethesda, you're the best. You did a great game for us. Thank you. And then it was like, Skyrim's rubbish. Go away. Get out of this place. Get out of Bob Dylan's life. I don't want
what did they
I'm going to go back to playing upscaled Morrowind. And I'm going to do it on my computer.
What don't they like about it, the Skyrims?
That's
the glitches and bugs and whatnot?
Yeah, it's the glitches and bugs, but it's like, dude, if you play a Bethesda game and you're surprised that there are glitches and bugs, allow me to sell you a punch in the balls. And don't be surprised when your balls hurt. But I don't know, it's so... It's like people wouldn't have been... You see this all the time. People wouldn't have been satisfied with anything less than a 9 or a 10 out of 10 for Skyrim. But then, give it 2 weeks later, and everyone starts attacking that score and saying, that a patch has come out to fix some bugs, and you get people going, oh, not a 10 out of 10 anymore, is it, you cunt? And I'm like, dude, if I'd have given it like a 6 or whatever you want me to give it now, I'd have caught just as much shit back then. People don't know what they want, but you see this. Like, maybe I'm turning on stuff.
Yeah, I've got a theory that gaming culture online is getting bigger and bigger, and it's finally gotten to the point where there are enough angry people on either side of any argument to avalanche anything you do with negativity, no matter what. So in the olden days, you used to be able to say, well, you know, if I say certain things that I know agree with the gamer culture in general, not that I'd want to, but I know if I came right out, and when I first started Destructoid and said Pokemon's the greatest Japanese RPG ever, I would just get a litany of hate comments, and that would be that. Now if I do that, I will get a litany of hate comments, but maybe a litany of support as well. No matter what you say, I think a lot of people are going to hate you now.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean,
no matter what Capcom does, a lot of people hate them, and no matter what college does, a lot of people hate them. Yeah, what were you going to say?
The thing is, it has gotten easier to not have any positive feelings for Capcom. I say this only because ask me 2 or 3 years ago, and I'd have said Capcom is my favourite Japanese publisher, hands down. I think they're fantastic. I think they got a good attitude. They bring out some really fucking good games. Now, I think the only Capcom games I give a shit about are Dragon's Dogma, which is probably going to be rubbish, and DMC, which I'm mostly interested in just because of Ninja Theory. And
how about Ashura's Wrath? That looks alright, doesn't it?
I don't know. I have a feeling I'm not going to like it. It looks like the kind of thing I'd like, but something tells me I'm not going to like it. I've not heard great things about it either. But
yeah, Dale really likes it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard some good things, I've heard some bad things. I don't know, I'll stay on the fence. I'm not going to get too excited. But that's it. It's like Capcom doesn't appeal to me anymore when it used to be my favourite Japanese publisher. So I can see why it would be easy for people who were already on the fence to just jump straight into the hate, because Capcom isn't bringing out those things anymore that used to inspire loyalty. As far as I can tell, people have kind of gone lukewarm on Dead Rising. There's all this arguments over the Marvel vs. Capcom stuff. So I don't know. I think as well, I mean, Capcom was one of the companies that pioneered that whole release a game, wait 6 months, release a glorified expansion pack for,
Oh yeah, they've been doing that forever.
Yeah, with only a fraction of the price cut off. They pioneered that, and back in the day when we were younger and foolish, that was okay. Not many companies did it, and we were happy to do it because, hey, we all like Street Fighter. Who doesn't? Nazis don't like Street Fighter, basically. That was the attitude we all had in the 90s. Play Street Fighter, fight to the Hun. That was how it went.
What'd you say? Fight to the hunt?
Fight to the Hun. I'm using 1950s anti-Nazi propaganda to make my point.
Okay, very good point. Thank you.
It's like, hey, you're welcome. But the problem is now we've kind of gotten a raw nerve about that now. Because so many other companies sort of did it. We've had like the whole DLC shit. EA now marching into the freemium market and ruining that. So we've kind of gotten really raw when it comes to the idea of a company nickel and diming us. So people kind of don't find that acceptable anymore. And maybe they shouldn't. I mean, is it really an excuse to say Capcom's always done this, ergo it's okay? Joseph Fritzl for 20 years kept his daughter in a basement and fucked her. But was it okay after 10 years? It's like, well, I've been doing it this long, so, not a problem anymore. Is that pedophilia or not after 10 years?
Wow.
I don't know.
Well, she's probably not a kid anymore after 10 years. But anyway, I'm with you.
So it's basically totally okay.
I didn't say that. This is what people love for. Those times you turn me either into a pedophilia supporter or just a pedophile. People love for this. They live for this. I'm already drunk. I'm gonna have some more vodka.
That it is the best thing of Podtoid.
Yeah, and it's only getting more popular, at least for now. It's definitely on the rise. A lot of the stuff
sweeping the nation.
About Capcom, I've been following the company for a long time. I'm a little bit older than a lot of our readers and a lot of people talking about video games on the internet in general. And I remember when they were complete shit, just the worst. They changed every box art from really good Japanese art to like disgusting watercolors or like colored pencil drawings. Yeah, and the Street Fighter Alpha series, there were so many games they wouldn't release in this country. They wouldn't release Breath of Fire here and Square before they became Square Enix, Square to publish it here. There was so much stuff that they did that was awful. And then moving into the PS1, PS2 era, they changed Final Fight from a really good arcade series to like this shitty, terrible wannabe, sort of like a poor man's Grand Theft Auto in terms of tone, just terrible. Like Capcom of America used to be the worst company in the industry, in my opinion. And then slowly they started to build a company that was made of people that grew up loving Capcom, growing up hating the fact that Capcom America was terrible, who really connected with the fans on a way that I don't think a lot of other companies had. And we're talking about Capcom like 2006 to 2009, I'd say. I think they really sucked in the fans and made them think, wow, Capcom gets me. Capcom is doing this because they care about me as a fan and not because they want the money. And then this past year, people had the rug pulled out from under them and realized, no, Capcom, just at least the people in charge, like Seth Killian and everyone in the community, they really are doing it for the fans. Seth Killian is not a rich man. He's not doing this for the money. He's doing it because he really loves Capcom in a very nerdy sort of
that's always the sad thing
way.
Is people like Seth Killian always get the brunt of it. They're the guys that care the most, and they're the guys that get all the abuse. One of Swords, Dan Amrich at Activision is the same. Like, I feel sorry for any community manager for fucking Activision to begin with. He's a lovely guy. He gives a shit, loves games, loves gamers, loves interacting, but obviously it's Activision. When Guitar Hero got the axe, and that other game, what was it, Just Cause? No, not Just Cause, the True Crime. When they got the axe, like, he brought the brunt of it, and it's like, he's a community manager. He didn't decide to kill Guitar Hero. That's people he's probably never going to meet came up with that decision. And it's the same with Seth Killian. It's like Seth Killian didn't personally cancel Mega Man.
No, he was like practically in tears about it. He hired new people just to promote Mega Man Universe. He had all this cool merchandise. Luckily, I have some of it, like a Ryu style headband and this cool Matul style do-rag. He worked really, really hard to promote Mega Man Universe. And then when it got canceled, he basically felt like like he lost part of his job, one of the things he was most excited about for his job, and then people threaten to like beat him up when they see him and blame him for the cancellation of the game.
Having him punched in the face at Comic-Con or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's not their fault at all. So that's a shame.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean,
indeed,
I think you hit upon a good point when you said that they began to think that Capcom really got them and cared about them. That always seems to be it, because once you fall into that trap, you start forming this bond with a company that isn't necessarily forming a bond with you back. And when they do something that runs contrary to the romantic way you've built them up, you feel betrayed. And then it comes out as hate. Like, hate and love are basically two sides of the same coin, And so it's very easy to flip from one to the other. And you see this with other companies like Valve. I don't think there's one company that does more to engage with its fans than Valve. So when Valve commit a misstep that's far more banal and harmless than something like Activision or EA would do, they get 10 times their heat for it. Because people feel betrayed because they decided that Valve's their friend and not a business. So when they announce like Left 4 Dead 2 and not Half-Life 3, people get really pissed off and like, you betrayed us! But it's like Valve never made any promises, and people get spoiled on that idea, and thus they get more hateful. So I think that's where we saw a lot of that this year.
Absolutely, and we also saw a lot of just finding someone to hate and then completely tearing them apart this year. I've been fascinated just with this ocean marketing thing that just happened yesterday, and just in general, looking back this year, I can't believe how powerful the internet has become in terms of kind of a mob mentality forming. That's huge. Thousands and thousands of people deciding to send death threats and try to ruin the life of various people that rub them the wrong way. Like, what was her name? Alyssa earlier this year?
Alyssa Bresnak or something?
Yeah, we had some fun with that. I thought that was funny, that situation, but there were other people who were legitimately like threatening to take her life and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
her.
Once you get into that, like, I know Reddit has sometimes sent like rape threats to people, like people from Reddit have done that, and people were threatening to, at least what the guy from Ocean Marketing says, people were threatening to kill his wife and 2-month-old child. Yeah. It's like, that's not that. It stops being funny at that point. I mean, if you're phoning that guy up to say if he can hook you up with the mayor of Boston, that's funny. The guy deserved it. The guy was a douche.
Right.
If you're not familiar with this, then basically this, just fucking look it up. Just Google Ocean Marketing. I'm not going to explain it. But yeah, it was basically Ocean Marketing, PR company, was a douche to one of its customers. Penny Arcade published it, and the internet descended. The guy was a twat and is a twat. I mean, he did an interview with MSNBC. Kyle Orland, he did it with, who's a top-rate guy, and dug himself even deeper because his whole apology seems based on the fact that I didn't know that I couldn't get away with bullying Penny Arcade. If I'd have known, I'd have done it differently, which isn't an apology. That's just, I'm sorry I thought that you could be bullied.
Everything about that guy is just amazing. He was saying, I feel really stupid now that I know it was the Penny Arcade guy because he has a lot of cool connections. I wish I was more like him. But the good news is I'm famous now. So now that I'm famous, maybe I'll do some charity work in order to look like a better person. Like, everything about this guy is just complete.
And I'll tell you what, that's
slime.
I've seen this before. This is not how you deal with, like, an internet community ganging up on you. This is not how you do it. And it's going to happen. It starts with boasting and trying to look like you're better than them. Maybe tell them they live in their mom's basement, Then they start talking about how it's great, all the attention they're getting, and how famous they are. And then it's just a few steps from that to where they're begging people to stop. And I say this as a man who has had a little experience with sort of hatred from communities, Sure. The best thing to do is just laugh it off, but with it, don't try and laugh it off in an I'm looking down on you way, because that will just make the internet go after you 10 times as hard.
Sure.
I mean, you just have to go to Encyclopedia Dramatica and look up some of the guys that have been attacked by the anonymous clans of the internet, and there's a running pattern with all of them. They've all got this weird personality. A lot of them are the self-diagnosed Asperger's type people that I've talked about on Podtoid before. These people that, they will fight back, but in this sort of really serious way, and that's like red rag to a bull to the internet, If you tell them that you are gonna be a cow full of drama milk, right for the sucking, they will pull on your teats until you're churning out dust, And it looks to me this is what this guy's doing. Like, every attempt he's got to try and look better and rise above it, he's digging himself deeper. And he
might really just be that bad. Like, I hate to think that the core of his being is that awful. I do tend to think that he's probably got his good days and his bad days like anyone else, and his worst moment was promoted on the internet, and people are judging him as just that moment instead of the whole person. I don't know,
dude.
Well, so far so bad.
I mean, they found out, the company history. He's got a history of being abusive to customers. His whole website's plagiarized. The official YouTube channel for Ocean Marketing has videos of him showing off his bike and complaining about the noise on the highway in the apartment where he bought an apartment facing a highway.
I did see that.
Yeah.
And him just eating food and
Just
like trying to put together one of those controllers. Yeah. The flange goes in here, and you got to solder that. And you hear like a Hispanic woman screaming in the background. And
I just think, how did he get in that line of work? That's what I'm thinking. It's like, if it's that easy, can I have a PR company now, please? Can I recommend stuff?
I think, was he really a PR guy? See, when I looked into him a little bit, it really seemed like he was just one of those people who is suddenly an agent, you know? You meet those 18-year-old girls who have a cute friend, and she's like, I'm her agent. And they go on Twitter and try to get her modeling jobs and whatnot, but they're not an agent. It's just a person with a Twitter account. It seemed to me that they were just guys with a YouTube account and email.
Awesome. I mean, he's got that kind of shyster kind of stereotype that, how, you know, I know this guy, I know that guy, I'm well connected with the doorman at PAX. You know, that kind of fucking that stream of drivel.
It doesn't seem like he has a normal IQ. I would guess. I mean, just from the things he's saying, you have to have some social intelligence to be aware of how you're going to sound. He does seem like he may have developmental disabilities.
He claims to be like a social media guy. He can't spell for shit. Can't even spell his own company's name right. And he seems to have no idea how the internet works. I mean, if you've got any experience in the internet, like I just explained myself, you know, how to deal with a community that's attacking you. You know, I've done it I've been through the mill several times. I'll be through the mill again, you know. You've got to accept it. You've got to accept it as part of your job. Just weather the storm. You know, and I've been in this business for not that long even, really, when you think about it.
4 or 5 years?
4 or 5 years, yeah. I mean, that's, I guess in internet years, that is an era. But, I mean, in terms of real life, that's not that long, and I learned the basics pretty quickly, and he doesn't seem to understand the basics of how to deal with the internet. The guy doesn't even fucking know how to...
No.
What?
I'm curious.
Oh, that's it. Sorry, I'm. That's
alcohol.
Festive party atmosphere that we are having.
We are drinking.
Party poppers and balloons, and
it's gonna.
We're on the stereo.
You're listening to Barbie Girl?
No,
I'm slurring a little.
I was listening to Blind Melon before we... Hey guys, welcome to the party time. We're going to listen to Blind Melon and drink some hooch, non-alcoholic. Make sure that you're back in bed by 10 p.m. We're going to have a great 90s party, guys. I just realized that joke is only for my wife who doesn't even listen to Podtoid.
Yeah.
That is the 90s party man. Another great character that's going to be on my TV show along with Trendy McTrendy and the situation, you see?
I like the situation a lot.
It's good, isn't it? It's good. But yeah, I mean, I guess that was the last big controversy of 2011 was that.
But we're still getting emails saying that Destructoid has been saying that the 3DS is doomed, and that we've been proven wrong by how well it's been selling in Japan the past couple of months. And I'm overjoyed that the 3DS is doing so well. I think it deserves the success it's had of late with all the upgrades and new free applications and capacities it has. The swap note thing I'm totally addicted to. I don't know if... Oh yeah, speaking of which, Jim, you have to add me on your 3DS so I can send you little comments.
I keep forgetting. Like I said, I mean, I haven't had my 3DS on in quite some time. I had it on actually just to get the ambassador games.
And, but you like drawing little comics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the swap note thing is the greatest thing about the 3DS right now to me, because if you have 100 friends on your list like I do, and I think you do, you can just draw a comic in the morning real quick, just one line, do 2 or 3 panels, send it, and 100 people have to read it. It's the law. And they do, and then they'll send you comics back and stuff. It's a total time sink. I've been fighting really hard to limit my swap note time to just 15 minutes a day because I love it so much. It's a free thing that came to the 3DS I think last week. But anyway, yeah, the 3DS is doing really well now. Great, but why did people think that we wanted it to fail, or we're saying
that's
it
the thing.
fail. What a strange thing that happened.
I know. I've been personally called out by a couple of retarded commenters, to put in the most diplomatic of ways, who are like, "Oh, Jim, you look so stupid now," and I'm like, "Dude, what?"
When
the sum total of what I've ever said is, I think on Podtoid I once said that, I think Nintendo might give up on the 3DS and work on like the next thing, which the jury's still out on that. We don't know if next March they won't have something super duper in the works.
Sure.
Probably not next March, but the March after or something. I mean, they're gonna have we know they're going to have like a 3DS Lite or something in the works at some point, possibly with the second analog stick attached and all this shit.
History has proven that's...
Yeah.
Unless they totally change the way they've been doing things for the past 10 years, if suddenly this is a new way of going about it, sure. But
I mean, the worst stuff I've said about the 3DS is stuff I still stand up next to proudly today. I said it launched too early. It pissed off the shareholders while ironically launching too early to please the shareholders. And it was a risky prospect for Nintendo at the time. It was, and it possibly still is. They're having success now, but that doesn't mean they're going to keep having success. And when I say that, I'm not saying it will definitely fail. I'm saying...
Or that you want it to.
No.
You don't want it to fail. No,
I don't want anything to fail. That's the thing. It's like, dude, if that system was the most successful system in the world and it gets the kind of games that the DS had, fuck, I can only win in that situation. That's the best thing about being an internet pundit. If you say something about if you say that there is a chance of something failing, either you get to crow about it when it fails, or you get to enjoy the cool shit when it succeeds. It's a win-win situation. We get tips. There's this guy, Fernando, who keeps sending tips in, like, constantly sending in tips about the 3DS's successes, and he's like, oh, I guess you're still saying Nintendo is doomed, aren't you? And I'm like, no one... I actually replied to him today, because I'd had enough. I was like, thanks for the tip, my friend, but... we never said it was doomed. No one I know on Destructoid has said it, and I never said it.
Well, you know what I think it is? I did invent a term called Nubageddon, which I thought was cute and stupid and would be forgotten immediately or just ignored. But I thought either way it was a clear joke about how so many people were saying in the comments, not so much video game journalists or people in the press, but a lot of people in the comments were saying, oh, Nintendo is coming out with this thing that gives the 3DS the ability to have two analog sticks. That means the 3DS is doomed. This shows lack of confidence in the product. They're going to come out with a new 3DS next year or sooner. This is a sign of the end of the 3DS. And I thought that was funny that they were so quick to say that, so I made fun of it by making up the term. Yeah, and people thought that I actually thought that. They didn't get
Which is funny, because if they know you, they know that you and Tony Ponce are like two of the biggest
we're huge
supporters
fans
of Nintendo's products, and I don't say that disparagingly. I'm like, you guys fucking support that shit. So
we enjoy it. Yeah.
You want that stuff to do well because those systems do the kind of games you like, which is totally fair enough. But yeah, it's just weird. I think a lot of people just didn't like any kind of criticism, so in their minds they hyped it up. So that if you say, oh, the 3DS is in a risky position, in their minds, their like hyperbolic minds, they're hearing, oh, the Nintendo 3DS will die tomorrow. And so when it doesn't die, they're like, haha, do you remember when you said it would die tomorrow? Well, it didn't. And it's like, well, we never said that. You said that. You guys are trolling yourselves. That's what most of these guys do. They troll themselves.
Interesting way of looking at it.
So it was weird, but at the end of the day, it's like, a lot of the stuff that I know I've said about the 3DS, Iwata has said, that Nintendo has said. I think they admitted their launch library was shit. I think they've admitted their eShop isn't all it could be. And I'm pretty sure they admitted it launched a bit too early as well. I could be wrong on that count, but I know...
No, you're right.
A lot of what I said about the 3DS, Nintendo have said it themselves. It's like, it's okay when Nintendo says it, but when I say it, I'm lying.
It's okay if your mom says, my cookies are a little burned, but if you come over, Jim Sterling comes over and says, these cookies are shit, Mom, Or, I'm sorry, these cookies are shit, Mom. Is that how British people talk? Then you get all mad when Jim Sterling says it. So yeah, Nintendo is allowed to be mad at Nintendo, but you are not. Yeah.
Welcome to Podtoid, ladies and gentlemen. I just realised I haven't done the introduction yet. I am your host, Jim Sterling, and I'm joined by Jonathan Holmes.
Oh, hi, yeah.
Hello.
And Max and Tara cannot make it this week. They are on vacation.
They are dead. They have had a car crash together in Paris like Princess Diana. And they are now splattered all over France.
Tara Long is really something. She's really... I really think she's going to become one of the biggest names in video game journalism.
No. She's doomed. She is doomed, and I will say that right now. She is as doomed as Nintendo.
I think Max, I actually think by his late 20s, he's going to end up in a movie or something. And because he's such a talented actor and comedian, I can't see him just continuing to do reporting. He's good at reporting too, but he just naturally turns things into a comedy routine and creates a narrative for every situation. So I think he's going to end up in Hollywood. But Tara, I think, could end up hosting TV shows and stuff like that. I really think so.
Well, she would do well to remember her friends who put her on the right track.
Oh, us.
Like,
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You get me on TV, Tara Long. Don't you think, Gab, you sell out. It's enough about me. Don't forget me. I'm just sat here now alone. I am a drunk. And you have gone on to do G4 TV's The Show, if that is still on, I don't know.
Well, that's you make a strong point. She probably won't go on to TV, but she will be on an internet show.
I wasn't making a point. Don't make it sound like I was making some point. That makes me sound like an arsehole.
No, it's a good point. Does anyone watch G4 and that stuff? Do those get ratings? I mean,
they got ratings once they stopped showing video game stuff and started showing reruns of Cheaters, which is a worthy endeavour. Because Cheaters is a great show. Actually, Tara's other half introduced me to Cheaters. He was a huge
funny
fan.
Guy.
He's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
It was E3 2 years ago. We all invented a game called Cheaters at half speed, where if you play Cheaters at 50% speed, it becomes the greatest show on earth. Because Joey Greco just works in slow motion. He pops, he's working it. So, he's just like, I'm Joey Greco. Welcome to theater. Joey Greco's an arsehole.
I don't know him. He's
getting involved in other people's relationships.
Well, yeah.
Acting like he is the betrayed one. Like, he might as well just slap the man in the face and say, why are you cheating on me? I'm Joey Greco. No one cheats on... I think Joey Greco's fun. I
have no idea who he is.
I like pretending he's an arsehole.
Yeah, sure. That's you said it lovingly. You said it while laughing. And you don't really feel any venom at that time. Do you want to do questions? Do you want to talk more about the things that happened this year? What do you want to talk about?
Jonathan, yeah. There's so much to talk about.
There's more?
Oh, there's so much.
This was the year that third parties finally abandoned the Nintendo Wii almost entirely, and yet it still had a pretty decent Christmas, proving that maybe everyone who said, no one cares about third parties on Nintendo consoles anyway, maybe they were right. Maybe people really don't care, and the console can do fine without third-party support. That's one thing I noticed. And to go along with that, a lot of games that I think would have been Wii titles if they came out a few years ago, like Child of Eden, El Shaddai, Rayman Origins was on the Wii, but it wasn't a Wii exclusive. Shadows of the Damned. Those are all those kind of like small-time third-party games that you would have seen on the Wii before. I'd say they're in the same caliber as Mad World and No More Heroes and that sort of thing. Yeah. They all bombed even though they weren't on the Wii. They all did terribly.
Well, they've always bombed, haven't they?
Yeah, but people used to blame those bombs on the Wii. And I always said, particularly to Joe Burling, our old friend, Joe, those kind of games, a black and white, hyper-violent comedy game called Mad World that is 6 hours long and has no online play, that's not going to sell very well on any console. And he said, no, it's the Wii's fault. But I think this year proves it wasn't necessarily the Wee's fault. What do you think? Sorry about the slurred speech.
It's hard to tell, that's the thing. It could... The Wii possibly didn't help, you know? You know, who's to say it wouldn't have sold better on the Xbox 360? We don't know. We can't know.
It's hard to say. The only barometer we really have is No More Heroes came out on the Wii many years ago now, though. 2008, I think it was. Sold about 500,000 copies. Was considered a huge success for Grasshopper. They brought it out this year for the PS3. HD graphics, new character models, new jobs, new DLC, new content. It's completely bombed. I think it sold like 75,000 copies or something. It tanked. But that could be because everyone who wanted the game already bought it on the Wii. But if that's the case, then that's a sign that the Wii wasn't really part of the problem if people actually bought the game on there if they wanted it. Jim, your thoughts?
My mum's balls.
I think Shadows of the Damned would have sold at least 200,000 copies if they did a Wii port. Originally, that game was going to be totally multi-console. PS3, 360, Wii. I think they even...
It fucking looks like it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you make a game that looks like a Wii game, or at least it looks... I'd say Shadows of the Damned looks like an HD version of Resident Evil 4 in terms of the quality of graphics. Maybe a little bit better. If it already looks like that, you might as well just throw it on there.
You can't, yeah. I say this as someone who loved Shadows of the Damned, you know.
Me too.
Fantastic game, and obviously it was never going to sell well.
EA thought it was going to sell well. They were sure that was going to be the breakout hit that convinced everyone that Grasshopper had mainstream appeal, and it sold much less than No More Heroes.
I don't get that, you know. I really don't get that. It's Shadows of the Damned is... I don't know, maybe it was just the quality that turned people away, like the visual quality. But they have started to make games that look like they should have appeal to the Xbox, especially the Xbox 360 crowd, you know. It's a game in which a guy swears, shoots demons with lots of blood, and makes dick jokes. That should be right up everybody's alley. It's up mine. Right up me alley, up me shitty, smelly, penis in me ass. But
alley. Well, Bulletstorm didn't sell that well either. I don't think comedy is not a bullet point that is going to bring in any money if a game, and it's funny. That's not going to help anymore.
You say that, but then Deadly Premonition was sold purely on its entertainment and comedy value. But again, I guess
that was $20, wasn't it?
That's the thing. Yeah. It had smaller expectations. And, of course, a smaller expectation is a lot easier to exceed than a high one. I think you're hitting on a point. I think we both did together, holding hands, skipping to the meadow. We've hit upon a point where, and this goes back to the thing I've been saying for a very long time, that it's amazing that I'm still this intelligent while I'm as I am. I'll probably listen back to it and I'm just saying things like shitty poo video games.
I do think we sound a little stupider than normal. I can speak for myself. I normally pride myself on my relatively good diction and ability to pronounce words.
I pride myself on your relatively good dick. Bouncing up and down on it. Going, Jonathan Holmes, sexy dick. Sexy dick, my friend.
That would be really weird if we suddenly had sex someday. Wouldn't that come as a surprise to you? It's like, what? This is happening.
It would.
Jonathan Holmes.
Imagine tweeting that after. Just add it. Hashtag E3. Just had sex with Jonathan Holmes. Did you see that?
Included.
Yeah. I mentioned
grimacing face, head, smiling. That'd be a real surprise for our readers.
With just this shiny streak across your top of your head.
Oh sure, yeah, I get real sweaty.
Do you celebrate Christmas or not? Because I don't know what ethnicity you are. Do you celebrate like the Union of the Snake or something?
I celebrate a lot of different holidays. This year was Christmas and Hanukkah were celebrated.
You did Hanukkah as well.
I did. I got some chocolate truffles for Hanukkah.
We did. I didn't ask what we got for Christmas.
Yeah, what'd you get for Christmas, Jim?
Well, let's ask. You were talking about your Christmas, so tell me about what it is that your people celebrate. What is it, like the draining of the fourth blood moon or something?
Well, we don't open our presents on Christmas Day, that's for sure.
Man,
yeah, nothing happened on Christmas Day at all. But on Christmas Eve, I got a lot of presents, and I'm at that age now, and particularly being a games journalist, if you call it that, I have all the video games that I want, pretty much, and I still have a backlog. I still haven't gotten to play Catherine yet. I haven't even opened it. I got that for my birthday, so I didn't get any games for Christmas, other than my friends on the internet. Swishy sent me a lollipop foam chainsaw from PAX from earlier this year. Adam Dork sent me some cookies and a Chipmunks movie, which is troubling. I don't know why he sent me that. And my friend Vlad Zhao on Twitter sent me all sorts of stuff. He sent me a Virtual Boy game, and sent me some really cool crap that I have to get into. So the only gaming stuff I got was from people who I've never met in real life or haven't seen at least. I've only met Adam Dork in real life once, and that was last year or maybe 2 years ago at PAX. So thanks, guys. It means a lot. I appreciate it. I'm going to do a picture blog as soon as I'm done with these 3 reviews and getting the Talking to Women About Video Games album up and the music video and stuff like that. I'm really inundated with work right now, but that should be done by Friday. Okay. And I'll get those posts up. Thanks, guys. Yeah. How about you, Jim? What'd you get?
I got nice things from people as well, from listeners, watchers of, listeners to Podtoid, watchers of Jimquisition, readers of Destructoid, because I did a tweet the other day, a couple of weeks ago, that was like...
I saw that. I can't believe you did that. That was
amazing. I didn't do anything. All I did was say it would be very gauche and an abuse of my position if I were to publicise my Amazon wish list. So I'm not going to do it. And then I just made sure that everyone knew what it would look like if I did it, and provided a link to my Amazon wishlist. And if you would like to know my Amazon wishlist, because it would be very gauche for me to tell you it, but it's alright if you ask me for it. You could just hit me up on @JimSterling on Twitter and say, hey Drew, what is your Amazon wishlist, please? And I could give it to you, which then is your fault, okay? It's your fault. But people got me stuff. It's always funny because I do it for a joke mostly, with always just this little hope in my mind that maybe someone will get me a present and I can pretend to be happy. And I got stuff. I'm trying to remember the names. Chris got me something. A guy whose name sounds a bit like Ekans got me something. I got the Gorilla Alien, which we've talked about on Podtoid before. I'm holding it now. I'm playing with it. I thanked the guy on the Jimquisition, actually. It's one of those xenomorphs that Canna brought out, where they took the idea of Alien 3 with the dog alien to ridiculous conclusions and had different animal aliens. And Gorilla Alien wasn't available in Europe, so I could never get it. So he sent me that along. And you pull these little xenomorph pipes at the back, and his arms open and close for grabbing stuff. And he's got a big rubber head. You can use that to suck up water and then spit alien acid. I got the Silmarillion for reading. What else did people get me? I got sent Toby, Sir Toby, the gingerbread.
He loves you. I talk to him all the time. He loves you a lot. Did you see that Jim Sterling is made of string fan art he made of you? Yes.
He did that a while ago. That was pretty awesome.
I'd never seen it.
I'm trying to remember which one he got me. He and another guy. I'm so sorry for forgetting your name. Please, I'm in a situation.
Well, you're drunk. Yeah, you're fine.
I'm in the situation. But him and another guy, either one, which way? I got a Ratchet and Clank. I got a Ratchet and Clank game, Quest for Booty, and a Skylanders special environment. Like, you put it on the Skylanders portal thing and it brings up a whole new level.
Did you didn't review that, did you?
I did.
Oh, why did I think that? I thought Maurice did for some reason.
8 out of 10. Very impressed with it. I thought it was a great idea. Fascinating business model. It's something I really want to study and see how it progresses. But yeah, they got me that. I believe there are a few other things in the post as well. So thank you so much, because it is my birthday coming up on January 1st, listeners. So you should be getting me stuff, really.
I'm uncomfortably drunk right now.
So
I just gotta say, I wish I weren't this drunk. I feel like I shouldn't be podcasting while feeling
even if you
a
needed
little
a
dizzy.
podcast on your own for a couple of minutes in a minute, because I have to go get another Pepsi Cola for mixing my drink.
You're gonna drink more?
What?
I'll do the podcast
tell
alone.
me what I can and can't do. I am my own independent woman. I also
tell me when to. Yeah.
got
What?
for my Christmas, my friend. I got desk, new desk.
You got a desk.
Yes. Not a dress like you were gonna say.
No.
I
dress.
am yet to live that dream. I got a big white long desk, which is good because all my life I have had, those little desks that are only really big enough for them on it and the keyboard, and maybe the mouse if you're lucky. I had just them all my working life, so I've got this one with actual room on it now, which is great. I've got somewhere to put my Jack and Daxter egg that Sony sent me for no reason. So that's cool. I got that Lord of the Rings for book for reading. So, it was a decent holiday haul.
That sounds great. So, I'm glad you got that stuff, Jim.
I'm glad you got your stuff.
I got a little. I got a shirt, I got a calendar, a Salvador Dali calendar. People don't know what to buy me anymore. It's fine. I feel no ill will. Though I do wish that I had more people in my life that knew my video game tastes and would buy the games that I forgot that I wanted. I think it was Wesley Rusher on our website who showed all the awesome games he got, like Solatorobo. I wish I remembered that I wanted that game, or I wish someone who knew me. Yeah, I wish I got that game for Christmas. That's the perfect Christmas gift.
I've had Solatorobo for months, and I haven't touched it yet.
If you want me to have it, you can send it to me. And I was going to say before, isn't it interesting? People actually bought you that stuff, didn't they, Jim? People. One thing I learned this year about the internet is that people very badly want to affect each other. They don't want to be anonymous on the internet. They want to make other people feel something with their actions, and that will go as far as them buying stuff or giving you stuff that you don't deserve, and you don't even know these people, but they're so desperate to be like, oh, the people like some of the videos I do. Not a lot of people, but it seems like the people who like them a lot, and people like that I interact with them on Twitter, and
that was the best thing about the presents that readers and listeners and viewers sent me. Wasn't so much the gift, although that is good. Don't think you're getting out of it, listeners. It was good, the gift bit, but the message attached is what actually made me feel happy. People were saying nice things. I've enjoyed Podtoid and Jimquisition and Destructoid so much, and here is a thing. Here is an item that you said that you would like, and I've given it to you because I like. We
didn't really ask them. We didn't do a pledge drive. We didn't talk about how desperate we were, like how National Public Radio does. We just said, "Oh yeah, you can buy this if you want, but don't." Or when it comes to the album I put out, which just really only had 3 different songs on it. But people bought that, and people bought the Destructoid Christmas album, which we did last week, because I accidentally put it for sale. I didn't even know it was on sale. It was actually the website Bandcamp automatically reverted it to a $5 album before I had the chance to change it. That's just their default thing. When you run out of, you're allowed to give 200 downloads away to anyone per month when you have a Bandcamp account, and I ran out of my 200 downloads. So while I was sleeping, it reverted to a $5 price tag for the Destructoid Christmas album.
$5 foot long. God knows about this shit. Sorry.
It's made $11 so far, and I've reverted it back to free by now because the new month officially started on the 27th. But I owe you $1. I owe everyone who worked on that album $1 because even though The album was 100% free on Destructoid.com. Some people chose to buy it just because they wanted us to have money.
Yeah, well, they do it with this. They do it with Podtoid. There are people that buy our Android app, which is available on Amazon's App Store if you're interested. $2. You, as much as I want to, you can't have additional content because of the way the software's set up or some bullshit. I wanted to do exclusive stuff, but I don't think I can. But people do it anyway, just for the support, just because they enjoy the show and they want to just toss a little bit of money our way, and that is so fucking appreciated. That is ridiculously awesome. And I thank you all the time for it. So that's fun. That's good. Speaking of which, I actually wanted to open the show with this.
Yeah.
We got an email you know what the email we got.
I think so. Maybe I do.
It was just called podcast feedback.
And
I love reading these things. I don't know why. I like reading them out. People think that we're really unpopular or something, which isn't true. I actually got a lovely email from a guy from a big video game publisher that I won't name just because I don't know how many people could get fired for listening to Podtoid and liking it. But it was a good guy. He said really nice things about the show and about our work. So thank you to you and everyone else that said nice things. We get like ridiculously positive reviews on iTunes that we don't deserve. But Stuart Murray said that I'd love to listen to your podcast. But unfortunately, I find Jim Sterling to be the most obnoxious, unfunny podcaster I have ever heard. To the point where I can't listen to the podcast. Sad face, he did. He seems to think that ranting, swearing, and smut is funny by default. And I find a lot of what he says offensive, especially when women are on the panel. It's complete tasteless. Brackets, come on, stink wank as a title for a gaming podcast. And that basically sums up the content that Jim contributes to the show. Anyway, I understand if there are people that find this podcast entertaining. And I do enjoy the Destructoid website and don't mind some of Jim Sterling's written work. But when I subscribed to the podcast and was orally assaulted by the verbal diarrhea of Jim Sterling, I lasted about 2 episodes and was compelled to write. I want to listen to a podcast about video games, and he spends most of the time ranting about bodily functions. Well, thanks for listening! And that was from Stuart.
His name's Stuart?
Alice.
I couldn't tell if my internet was giving out or whether you just stopped talking for a second. It's a real puzzle to me. There's a lot of people I don't think are funny, but I've never once thought to email them and say, please stop working. Just do something else for me so I can have a television that never has the potential for you to ever appear on it. I don't like Jeff Dunham. I'm not going to email him and say stop. What? Why would you spend your time doing that? It's just a hurtful,
when it comes to Jeff Dunham, I'm hoping Cancer will do the job for me.
Wow. But you haven't written him any emails, have you, Jim? Stop me if I'm wrong. No, you've got better things to do. You'll change the channel if he's not on. You don't feel a need to hurt him.
He really wants to listen to it, so he must be a fan of yourself. And Max and Tara.
What? How would he know he's a fan of us? Max is not that different from you, in my opinion. You and Max have a chemistry that I love.
They're bad influence on each other.
No, it's wonderful. You guys have a way of inspiring each other's capacity for comedy creativity that I think is fantastic. I'm always happy to witness it. I try to jump in on it a little bit, but I'm too tempted to just sit back and watch because it's really really funny. So come on, it's not like you're dirtier than Max in any way. Max is the one who came up with Kirby's Nightmare Fuckhouse or whatever. Yeah. Max is no different from you. And
It
then
was
me
the
and
bit
Tara
about
talk.
especially when women are on the panel there.
Well,
That's the
yeah, he
bit
doesn't
that
know
gets
Tara
me.
Long at all. Then
Well, I
Tara Long
find
has the
that.
dirtiest mind out of anyone I know.
Yeah, I find that incredibly sexist. I
Yeah,
find
it
that
is.
I
It
find
just
that
blatantly
very
is.
sexist
Yeah. Well,
because it. Why should I treat this show any differently, whether there are women or boys on it?
no kidding.
I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
no. I think people always forget that. It's like when I called that woman a slut on Twitter.
Indeed.
She was calling me all kinds of offensive things, and I was just calling her offensive stuff back because I
Right.
treat everyone equal because I am the ultimate hero of
Well,
society.
no, but you did not pull any punches. You treated her like an equal. You treated her exactly as
Yeah.
she had been treating
And
you.
it's
Yeah.
not like when Tara's on, I'm saying, "Oi, Tara, get your vagina out so I can look at it." It's not like I've ever done that. Or, "Oi, Tara, your breasts stink." Like, I've never said that to Tara. I'm waiting till she has gone, and I am saying it now.
You've never treated her any differently than the
No.
rest of us. You've actually been a little bit more sexually inappropriate with me and Max,
Yeah,
but
pretty
that's
much.
because
I mean, I just talked about fucking you earlier. I've never done that with Tara because I am.
it's just a little tacky. Yeah.
People think that I'm, not totally insensitive to stuff, but it's like I know what it is like for someone who looks like Bulk from Bulk and Skull on the Power Rangers to start coming on to an attractive woman. So,
Sure.
an
Yeah.
attractive woman who, I know doesn't, want to have sex with Bulk from Bulk and Skull.
Not right now.
You
She
know,
might. She's got pretty interesting taste,
so
but
I'm not going to do that because that would be creepy and horrible, and I wouldn't want to inflict that on anyone. I wouldn't want Bulk from Bulk and Skull to come on to me. So I'm not going to do it to someone else unless they're called Jonathan Holmes. I want to empty you in my arse, Jonathan. See? So I don't get why he brought the women thing up because
well, do you know about the superego as theorized by Sigmund Freud? Do you know that theory? Because
I
this is
know a
my
little
big
bit
kick.
about it. I know a little
My,
bit about it.
Here's my big kick this week, Jim. I may even write a comic book about it and illustrate it. This is how much I've been thinking about it. Everyone I know, other than you and maybe two or three other people, are partially ruled by their superego. And their superego is the part of their psyche, part of their personality, part of their psychological being that says, well, you shouldn't do this because the rules of society or the rules of your parents or the kind of ingrained idea of right and wrong, not your natural inclination towards right and wrong, but the things you were told are the difference between right and wrong, tell you you shouldn't do this. So if you have a friend who you don't want to hang out with, and you want to honestly say, dude, I don't want to hang out with you tonight. Yeah, I'm just not in the mood for your brand of social interaction. You say, oh, well, I shouldn't tell him that because that would be a mean thing to do. I'll say, my foot hurts, so I'm not walking over. So you'll lie and do something even worse because your super ego tells you that that's how you're supposed to act. And the guy who wrote that email was saying, oh, you shouldn't do that because a woman is on the show. That's just some arbitrary standard of behavior that he picked up from society, which is complete crap. And in the end, only makes Tara feel like one of the guys are not included on the show. If we were to act differently around her, that would only make her feel excluded. So,
I mean,
super ego damned, Jim. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I
I'm
think
yelling.
people don't realize is I've done this with yourself. I've sent emails to people on Podtoid, telling them, look, dude, if there is anything I would do or say that would cross a line, fucking tell me. I will edit out whatever offended you on the show. I will not do it again. To date, no one has ever told me to stop doing anything.
No, because your super ego is not really, from what I can tell, knowing you for a few years, it's not that heavily involved in any of your decision making, from what I can tell, which is good because your moral core is such that you naturally want to treat other people as you would want to be treated yourself. You wouldn't want to hurt the feelings of your friends because you're empathetic. You would feel badly if you did that. You're a compassionate person. So you don't really need a superego. You don't need some arbitrary set of rules to guide your behavior, Jim Sterling. Just be yourself. I wish everyone was more like...
Everyone should do it, Jonathan. No.
Everyone should be more like you. It'd be a much more interesting world.
Everyone should be me. Yeah. And then we'll see some fucking changes around here. When I am in charge. When I am in charge and Christian Slater is on the television, on everything. On all of the time. So I just have to assure my wife that my stepson is not in the house while I'm drunk. Because you tweeted while we were talking that we are drunk and want questions, and she straight away, why is Holmes saying you're drunk? And I say festive holiday podcast, and she's worried that I've got the stepson here and I am drunk. Obviously, I wouldn't do that because,
I don't know. Is that one of the rules? I don't know about.
It's one of my rules. I certainly wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to be drunk around a child.
Well, that's very nice of you. See, that's your.
I've been around drunk adults as a child. I've been around drunk adults as a sober adult, and it's not fun. People listening to this, if they're sober, it's not fun. You know, I'm going to choke on my drink.
Whoa. Is that still that stuff you got for Saints Row, or is that something else?
No, it's the same thing. I think I'm choking just because I was shouting when I was doing that email reading.
Hold
on, let me just assure her. Course not. There we go. Just let her know that her son isn't going to be found dead when she comes back.
A little more about the superego. You know it's a big part of why there is religious wars. Because people's superegos, what they were taught bringing them up, said, oh, this side of a religious divide is bad, so you have permission to kill them. If it weren't for the superego, all of those maniacs killing each other would just be doing run-of-the-mill crimes so we could put them in jail. But instead, they're fighting these holy wars, and god damn it, superego.
Stop the holy wars!
Stop the holy wars!
Stop the... Why are you holying your wars, guys?
Yeah, guys.
Stop it now.
Yeah, just stop it now. Get to know yourself a little bit. Look at the man in the mirror. Ask him to change his ways. Stop killing those other guys who worship the other kind of thing.
Yeah, the Pope.
Easy as that.
Get
the
with
Pope.
The program, the Pope. Stop doing the Holy Wars. Stop doing the Spanish Inquisition, the Pope.
What a punk. Did you call him a punk? Or
I called him the Pope.
What's meaner in British talk, punk or because it's different?
Coughing now. I hurt my throat. I've actually had a sore throat this week.
I know. I was going to ask you to sing on my album, but I know you've had a sore throat.
Shouting and screaming and drinking isn't helping any of it. I've got a question though for you, Jonathan.
For me?
Yeah,
sure.
It is a holiday question.
Okay.
Because it is the holidays, Jonathan Holmes. It has been for Christmas, and it will soon be for the New Year's Eve, and then for my birthday. You can get me stuff on my Amazon wishlist, listeners. But I've got a holiday-themed question, right?
Okay.
Now, as we know, you are a doctor. You're a trained medical surgeon, philosopher king. You are the surgeon philosopher king, Jonathan.
That's right. I forgot.
Oh yeah. Now, I've got a question. You know those kids, right? They're born and they've got that aging disease.
Oh yeah.
Their bodies age quicker than they do. So they're like got the body of an 8-year-old, but they're still like 6 or whatever.
Sure, like an Akira. You've seen Akira.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And they look like the kid from Mac and Me, the alien from Mac and Me.
Sure, I've seen it.
And there's a photo of him, playing on the piano, and all the family gathered round, and they get on shows like Maury Povich or whatever, right? Is it paedophilia or not?
To want to have sex with someone who looks like an old child.
Oh, not want to have sex. I mean, someone else had sex with one of those 80-year-old babies. Not me. I didn't do it. A friend of mine, definitely a friend of mine, right? Not me. Not me. Right? I put a wig. He did. The other person put a wig on them so that they, they didn't have the weird bald thing going on. So
sure, because that would be gross.
Yeah, so they look quite refined. They look like Eric Bischoff from WCW. And, maybe they sucked it off. I don't know.
Oh, yuck. Yuck. I was doing some research on this week because the more I get asked about pedophilia, and it is only getting more. It's only getting worse. The more I feel like I'm supposed to know about it. So I did a little bit more research to find that statistically more pedophiles happen to be mentally retarded and that sort of thing. Not to discriminate against people with developmental disabilities, but statistics don't lie. Yeah.
Did you just say that all people with autism have definitely fucked a kid?
Probably the most disturbing pedophilia conversation I had was with a guy who was mildly mentally retarded. He was trying to confess. It was really gross. This isn't funny at all. This is just going to be a quiet, awkward moment.
I'm already grinning, though, by the way. I'm already smiling.
It's not funny. It was terrible. I was, working in the hospital. A guy came in. He had a mood disorder, but he was also had an IQ of like 69 or something like that. That wasn't meant to be a sexy joke. He just wouldn't stop talking about the time he molested some kids for like an hour and a half, and I kept trying to tell him, stop.
Did he do it like the golden years? Uh-oh, looks like I was in trouble.
No, he just recanted it like, step by step, and then I did this, and then I did this, I feel really bad about it, and then I did this, and I said, you're re-traumatizing yourself by talking about it, you're traumatizing everyone who you keep talking, he'd just walk up to strangers and start telling them about it.
What an icebreaker.
I didn't think you were going to laugh about that. Yeah, it was pretty disturbing. It was a bummer.
I bet he was a bummer at all.
And he had done it like 40 years ago. He was in his 60s and he hadn't done it again.
I thought you were going to say he did it 40 times.
No. And we did it.
Well done. If you can do it, I'll tell you what, right?
Tell me what.
Any less than 40 times, go to jail. 40 times, medal. Just for achievement. Fucking hell! I mean, you get 50 gamer score for fucking killing 110 bats in Darksiders. Fucking give him an achievement for fucking 40 children.
Wow, it's so bad that no one.
I'll tell you what, this isn't offensive because Tara isn't here. Because that fucking guy who complained like a dick. Right, there's no women on the panel. It's not even a panel show, you idiot. Right, there's no women on the panel, so don't worry about it. So fuck 40 children, my listeners.
It's so universally. There's no place I know of where pedophilia is even kind of not hated. Jail, Greece, the lowest dregs of society up until the upper escalons of our world. Yeah. Everyone hates pedophilia.
Oh, definitely. So. I tell you what, right? I tell you what annoys me.
Mm-hmm. Please do.
Pedophilia. That gets on my fucking nerves.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'd say that does annoy me though. You get these. I think I may have talked about this on maybe Podcastle back when I did that, or earlier Podtoids. People that do that go out of their way to tell you how much they hate pedophilia. It's like, dude, we all hate it.
It's like saying that the Hitler was a really bad guy.
Oh yeah, my grandmother did that once. Oh, he was a bastard, that Hitler. Yeah, we know. We're all aware. You haven't been the first to point this out, which is funny because my great-grandmother did call a nurse a nigger once, so it's like, right. you are basically Hitler now. Hypocrite. Oh, God. I'm so glad we didn't get Dale North to come and guest on this as well.
Oh, you would have been so at a loss for words.
New boss,
for this.
I like Dale as my new boss because I get away with things that Nick wouldn't let me get away with.
Yeah, he is a little bit newer to the job. I don't think he suffered the same.
I do feel like a kid, like with a substitute teacher who is taking advantage.
A little bit, and he's so busy too.
That makes it sound like Dale's bad at his job. I don't actually mean that. He's fucking fantastic at his job. He is a lovely man. He is Asian, okay? So equal opportunities employer at Destructoid, you know.
He's a really good singer too. He's gonna sing something for the forthcoming. Fantastic. Yeah, there's not much he can't do when he puts his mind to it.
Until north.
Whoa!
Until north.
What is that? What are those sounds you just made there?
I don't know. That's what I do. Every now and then I will sing as Dale North, but for some reason I will throw in vomiting noises. Until north.
You know, growing up, the album that my family listened to, we gathered round the record player sometimes 3 or 4 times a week and listened to Monty Python's Contractual Obligation. My mother, my brother, and I. And there's a song called The Sound of John Denver Being Strangled. Do you know that one?
Oh, maybe I heard it once, but I can't remember it now.
Bit of a tangent. Anyway, that's the music my mom likes. So if you ever want to sing a song like Dale North with those grunts you just made, she'd love it. she would love your solo album. I hope you do more music.
Podcast.
It has been really good.
It's been a wonderful. It's been festive. That's the point I've been trying to make this whole podcast, right? This has been a festive holiday time because I'm having a holiday.
Sure, you're on holiday.
I'm on holidays. Should do. I've been working hard this year. It's time
November over.
Have a sleep.
Indeed.
And have a holiday and good cheer for the boys and girls.
I forgot what you're like when you've been drinking a little bit. Last time I was talking to you when you'd been drinking was the E3 Sonic party when you came home. And yeah, that was fun.
She gave me an apple, and I found the concept of apple so funny I couldn't even film the video we were going to film.
It turned out good. I think a few thousand people watched that. Isn't that weird? Terrible. I was going to ask you something.
A few thousand people listen to Podtoid. We're heading to a point where we're getting about 20,000 listeners a week, which ain't fucking bad. Oh, that ain't bad. Could be better. Really? I'm always looking at the horizon, you know.
Any growth is pretty amazing, if you ask me.
We're basically heading to the point where we're doubling what we started with. So any of those people that do complain about me being a host, fuck off. Because I am doing a great job. I have steered this podcast to creative greatness.
Well, we're all in the process of finding our audience. Your stuff, your writing and your video stuff is getting all the more popular. Max and Tara's show is getting more popular. My stuff, I'd say 10 times more people watch my videos now than they did. Not 10 times, close. 5 or 6 times as many as they did years ago. So we're all expanding. It's nice to feel like you're heading in the right direction.
I'll tell you what else will expand, Jonathan Holmes.
What's that, Jim?
Your dilating anus. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, John.
Wow.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, John.
Please tell me what you're going to do, Jim.
I'm going to lick my finger. Right?
Oh no! Really?
Yeah. I'm gonna push it into your puckered little ring piece, right?
Ouch! Ow!
Don't worry, you'll like it. It'll be good. And I will.
Doesn't hurt. Sounds like it's gonna hurt.
No, it'll be great. And I'll swirl it around, right? And you'll be all like that, okay? And then just little licky, right? On the other finger, just 2 in, right? Like that.
Sure.
Like. Like that, okay? And then it'll be all like nice and warmed up, right? And then, right, do you know what I'm gonna do? Gonna bum you with my dick. And you're gonna be biting your bottom lip and you'll be like, like that, and I'll be like, like that. My head will be moving backwards and forwards, like, and I'll have an afro, and I'll be all backwards and forwards like a 70s porn star, just like that, and you'll be like, like that, and I'll be like, yeah, cool Christmas, and I'll be doing all that, and it'll be great, and then we will do that until we both orgasm.
I heard that was really cool this Christmas, was to hit up your heterosexual married friend for some impromptu anal sex with an afro. Yeah, cool Christmas. That's what you said. That's what you... How was your Christmas? Oh, it was pretty cool.
Hey, I had some cool Christmas anal with my best heterosexual buddy. He's married. His wife don't know.
Cool Christmas. Wow, I want to make T-shirts now that say "Cool Christmas" that have.
I've been doing that all Christmas. I woke up, my wife said hello, and I went, "Hey, cool Christmas," and then I just swaggered around. This is going to be next to Trendy McTrendy and the other characters I've done.
Sure, the 90s party guy. Yeah.
And Cool Christmas will be, he'll have a small afro and a moustache, and he'll go, cool Christmas, like that. And he will have sex with women and get them pregnant and not pay child support. And that'll be the joke. That'll be like the punchline. When the mother knocks on the door and says, I have had a baby because of you, now I need money. And he'll go, ha ha ha, no. And then the audience will laugh, and he'll look at the camera and go, cool Christmas. And I reckon whoever commissioned the Big Bang Theory will fucking eat that up.
It's got as much chance to be a hit as anything. Tim and Eric, The Big Bang Theory, Jersey Shore, you never know what's going to... They're all totally different. They're all wildly popular for some reason.
Cool Christmas anal. Let's have a bit of it. Let's have a bit.
Just real quick. Real quick. I like it when someone's going to do something terrible to you, and they're just real quick.
I'm going to put some Hershey's in your stocking, and by that I mean I'm going to fuck your ass. It's about this point that everything that guy said in that email about Podtoid is 100% factually correct.
I don't know. I think
apart from the bit about the woman. Apart from the bit about the woman, that's the thing. It's like, without Tara here, I am less embarrassed.
Oh, is that right? You noticed? Because I don't.
Not because she's a woman, but because she's sensible.
Right. It's her personality.
Yeah, and she. She's fucking dirty. She's filthy.
Not as much publicly, but
as much as all of us. I don't mean like. Yeah. I'm not saying anything about activities. I'm not being rude or anything. I'm just saying she's got a mind for bawdy humour, but her persona is such that I feel like she is very serious when she's not. It's my fault. Actually, when I first met her, I thought she hated my guts.
She's a little shy when you first meet her. Yeah, she was shy when I first met her, too, and we were planning on doing the Destructoid show, so we were trying to get to know each other's personality and doing some videos together at PAX last year, and I wasn't sure what to think either, because an attractive, intelligent young woman, if she's not, like, really socially involved, you think, oh, maybe it's because I suck, but it's actually because she's relatively self-conscious and not particularly...
Yeah.
She's really just, I hate to use the term one of the guys, but she wants to sit around and play video games and eat junk food and tell dumb jokes just like all of my male friends.
She is one of the friends.
She is one of the friends.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, right? She is good at what she does.
She is.
She is funny when she joins in and asks about pedophiles. And she has... really nice hair.
She does.
And she does the Destructoid show really good with Max Scoville on the internet.
She is very funny on that show. Very quick.
And she has been good on Podtoid.
She has.
And I will not treat her different from anyone else. So don't you think for a second that I will. Don't do that.
I wanted to tell you, Jim, that people really like your song on the Destructoid Christmas album. Great job on that.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. Oh, you did a fantastic helping me with it.
That was scary for me because, as you probably know, you're not supposed to record the vocals first because you don't have anything to stay in key to when you're singing and you don't have a beat to stay to. But you just sent me a track of you singing. I'm terrible at audio editing and anything like that. So I just had to try to do something on it. I only had like an hour to do it or 2 hours to do it. But yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity and I had fun doing it. And I'm glad people have made it. Anytime, I had a lot of fun.
So I wanted to do a proper song this year because last year we did the Destructoid Christmas album and I basically did, it was half like comedy singing and half spoken word and it was just a big joke and I wanted to actually try and do a proper sing song this time. And I wrote my own song and lyrics and came up with a tune that was kind of reworked from Lonely This Christmas by Mud. And
it sounds pretty different though. You made it your own, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of used it to get. I used that kind of rhythmic bass, and then I kind of made my own tune around it.
Sure.
And I thought it was quite nice. And obviously, I think it would have been a lot better if we'd have been able to do the beat first and then have me sing onto it. But because of timing, and I had to look after my stepson and everything, couldn't be done.
Yeah, I was begging you to do it for like days, and you're like, I don't have time, and then you relented and just quickly did something, and then I quickly finished it, and then the album came out, I think, the next day. So
we're doing right. Next year, we'll do it proper. It'll be real fun.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
But yeah, that was cool. I liked it. I mean, the whole album was brilliant, as it was the year before. And if, just do a quick Google search or go on Destructoid, look up the Destructoid Christmas album if you've not heard it. I do songs on it. Jonathan Holmes does quite a few songs on it. And we got guys like Chad Conselmo, Dale North, who's just fucking stupidly good at singing, idiot.
Yeah, I know. Makes us all look bad, pretty much.
Yeah, terrible. He's a terrible man, basically. So do that. That'll be good.
Indeed. Do you want to do any questions real quick, Jim?
Hey,
people have been sending them in.
If people want to ask us things, I want to answer them.
They do. There's a lot of questions. Jeez. Let me try to just scroll through and pick one at random. Guess each other's nipple radiuses from Phil Welsh. I don't know. I don't know much about math. I'm guessing Jim's are, quarter-sized nipples. Quarter nipples.
They're little nipples.
You can guess mine. I can tell you. They're raising.
I reckon they're like tax discs.
They're more raisin sized, yeah.
We are the Little Nipple Podcast.
I'm proud of it.
Oh god, I'm drinking that scotch fucking straight now. This is horrible.
I've stopped drinking. I'm trying to sober up. I might have to drive. I have to write the VVVVVV review. Oh, I didn't tell you I was doing that, Jim.
What?
I'm writing.
Oh god.
Boss, I'm writing a review tonight for a game that's coming out on the eShop tomorrow.
All right.
It is the 3D port of VVVVVV, and I love it a lot.
That is.
So I hope that's okay.
That is, my friend.
Then I'm going to get the Sonic Generations 3D review, which I finished the game, but since that's so old already, and there's a lot to say about that, I'm going to try to get the review up this. Yeah, I'll get that up this weekend in Fortune Street.
Who the hell did I send Shinobi 3DS to?
You sent that to Darren Nakamura? Is that his last name?
I don't know where the fuck that is, because I sent that out before Christmas.
He's working on it now. It's a hard game.
Oh, yeah. Well, why'd you think I fucking sent it off?
But he's getting it done. That's what he told me anyway, because I asked about that too. I wanted to review that if he was not doing it. But he's doing.
He's got to do Jurassic Park as well.
Whoa, Jesus. That's not easy.
That man needs to get chop move on.
Yeah, he'll get him done. He'll get him done. We'll probably get him all done this week.
I'll kill him with a gun.
Michael Cyrus Jr.? I don't know how to pronounce that. Sires asks, how convoluted does a game have to be before you give up on it? Like how much does
vague.
Well, here's how I'm taking it, is that how much does a game have to ask you to deal with in terms of controls and menus.
Hey, Jonathan,
Yeah,
I'll tell you how you're gonna take it.
You're really. I think this is the fourth impromptu sexual harassment you've suddenly just felt compelled
I love
to
it.
begin.
I only sexually harass men. Now, I don't know whether that makes me sexist towards men or sexist towards women for ignoring them.
No, I think I think that's culturally considerate. I know I have a bald head and a big chin, and therefore I can scare people. They think I might be a tough man, because tough men are often bald. I'm a little bit big, too. I'm a little bigger than average. So I smile a lot more, because I know people might think that I'm going to kill them. Whereas if I were a 5'2" woman who weighed 110 pounds, I would probably yell more at people and smile less because I know that they're not afraid I'm going to kill them. So you know that I could keep you from raping me.
You could put up a good fight. You could put up
I would
do
all right. I would clench and duck. And,
I do think it would be 50-50 as to the outcome.
I'd get a little raped, but not 100%.
But I think your strength would come in longevity, because I have a natural physical strength, but
Sure.
I'm an unwell man. I'm drinking straight whiskey and chasing it with Monster Energy. I'm not a fit human being. If you let your guard down within 2 minutes, you will get raped so hard you will be vomiting up your own shit.
That's really badly raped. That's nightmare rape.
That's pretty bad. But
that's the bad rape.
Beyond that, dude, I'm fucking passed out, heart attack, whatever. So long as you can, defend, if you can just keep on the defense for long enough, then you will win the anal siege. That might be the title for this week's Podtoid. Because I've noticed we get about 2,000 more listens if the title of the podcast is sexual.
Is that right?
Some, mutated way. Like Bat with a Bra or whatever else we've done.
Sure.
Not Toddler Semen Farm. That one didn't get many downloads. That with
well,
a
you
bra,
don't want to get arrested for downloading.
So long as it's about anal sex or bestiality, then we will get 2,000 extra downloads.
That is a surprise. I shouldn't be surprised, but I am. That's good news, though. I'm glad people accept us as we are. That makes me feel good. But anyway, the question was, how convoluted does a game have to be before you give up on it? I had a really hard time getting into Fortune Street, because that game is incredibly complex. It was a big surprise. A lot of people are saying, oh, it looks just like Mario Party. No, there's Dragon Quest characters in this game for a reason, because it has a JRPG core to it where you have to love navigating menus and keeping track of stats and leveling up and wondering how many, points you put towards certain stat increasing aspects of your company and whatnot. That is a complicated game, Fortune Street. It is a well-made game that I think is going to be way too boring for most people to deal with, because they see Mario running around a board game. They're like, oh, I'll get up there and I'll, 4 of my friends will compete to see who we can jump on the Koopas fast enough, or it'll be like little rodeo and we'll have to rope some cows. No. Fortune Street is like a cold, hard stats, money-making, angry, I want to be the richest guy on the board game, and you have to have the passion to destroy your friends financially using menus in order to enjoy.
I'll tell you what, Jonathan Holmes.
Yeah, tell me.
I won't destroy you financially, but anal sex, etc.
There's a lot of guys, Jim, who are probably sitting home listening to this podcast, getting a smidge aroused at the idea.
They better do. They better
Real
do.
Homosexual lust between two men. It makes a lot of people feel really happy, and it might not even be women. I don't know if you know about this. I think it was Ruffians, Venus and Furs on Twitter, who showed me this. There is a Japanese cartoon for women called Papa to Kiss in the Dark. It's a light novel series by Ken Nanbara about a high school student named Mira Munakata.
Let me just ask before we carry on, is this pedophilia or not?
Yeah, it's just
okay.
100% pedophilia. This is from the Wikipedia entry. Mira Munakana is a freshman who, in the first scene of the OVA, is going to his first day at Hakuo High School. He's in love with his father, Kayusuke Munakata, and the two of them are involved in a romantic and sexual relationship. He is confused by the relationship, however, and struggles with it throughout the film. Just totally okay. And the cover to it is just like a effeminate, very pleasant-looking high school student with his arms wrapped around like a businessman, and it's called Papa to Kiss in the Dark. This is just what people want. People want repressed homosexual feelings between two men to be taboo and toiled over, and then suddenly drunkenly expressed as you have on this podcast. It gets them aroused, Jim. Congratulations. You made a lot of people horny tonight.
I'm glad. That is
proclamations of lust.
I think when I first started out as a video game reviewer, I think that was one of my goals, was to just horn up as many men and women as possible.
I think it's got to be more repressed Japanese high school students, women, who are like, oh, great, their gay love is finally coming through. I love this podcast. Great job.
I mean, if you know any Japanese female students who love podcasts and gay pedophile sex, then recommend Podtoid. It will get them wet, guaranteed.
Wow.
Or their money back.
Or their money back, but it is.
Their money back.
Therefore, we don't have to deal with the hassle. Was there someone wanted to know? His name is Alan Tracida, I think. Hello, Alan. What was your guys' unexpected gem of 2011? That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Unexpected jam.
Yeah, what was your unexpected jam?
Raspberry.
Was there any game, Skylanders, you probably didn't think was going to be as good?
Actually, I had a lot of high hope for Skylanders.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I tell you, actually, I know exactly what it is. And that is Star Wars The Old Republic. It's a game I had no interest in until they told me I was getting it for free. And then obviously I was fucking interested. I am not, I've said this before, I'm not a big MMO player. I am not really a fan of BioWare's past work. And I'm not even that big a Star Wars fan. Like, you know, I think Star Wars is all right. And I also think George Lucas is a tremendous tit. But even with those three barriers toward enjoying Star Wars The Old Republic, I fucking love Star Wars The Old Republic. I keep, you know, I don't think I've missed a day since I had the early access where I'm not in there playing it. I'm constantly playing it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great game. Just the story for all the classes is great. The sheer level of content. I only beat Chapter 1 like 2 weeks after getting early access. That took me a couple of weeks, I guess.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a fucking amazing game, and the amount of work that's gone into it astounds me. And I mean, it's got some problems, but to have what they have is staggering. And then that was definitely an unexpected thing, because I was not expecting much at all, and that just completely blew me away. I didn't think I'd be playing it now, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. I should check that out. Oh, that's not the new one. I don't keep track of the Star Wars games. They'll kind of blend.
Oh, no, that's the new one. That's the one that came out this month.
Oh, yeah. You're playing that with a lot of the interns and stuff, right?
I say with, like, they are playing it. I haven't bumped into anyone I know.
Oh, that's too bad.
I think there might be something wrong with the friend finder as well, because I've told people my name, like my character's name, and they can't find it. And I found one guy on there his character's name is Jimquisition. And he sent me a message and said, "Hello, Jim," and I laughed because he was named after my show on The Escapist.
That's nice.
So that was fun, but other than that, it's like I haven't really bumped into anyone, despite apparently everyone being there.
That's too bad. Hopefully they'll fix that. Did I already rant about SwapNote already? I can't believe how much more fun that is than I thought it would be. It's a little annoying, though. It was supposed to just be the way to message people on the 3DS in order to be like, hey, I'm going to play this game, hop online with me. But instead, it's just, Nintendo can't just do things simply. They have to turn it into like a work of art, whether for better or worse. They do things their own way. And SwapNote I can't stop just drawing little comics to people and making myself laugh and then having them respond. It's I thought it would just be a simple messaging system. It's pretty much the
Will you get in trouble if you do penises?
No, people do nonstop. They're taking pictures. You can do sounds. Jim, you're going to love it. You can do pictures and sounds. So you could take a picture of your penis, take a sound, and be like, ah, and send it to 100 different people. And they just have to look at it and hear you go, ah, that's your own cock.
Brilliant. I'll do that in a minute.
Tonight. You can do it tonight. You're going to do it tonight. You do that thing.
Penis.
Cock is a funny word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Makes me feel a little weird to say.
I am desperate for a piss now because I've been drinking Monster Energy for chasing my scotch.
Well, this was supposed to be a short podcast.
It's going to be a short one. Hours. It's yeah. What? It's normal. Yeah.
Do you want to talk more about anything? People, our friend Kyle McGregor wants to know what we think of the PSN disaster from earlier when it got hacked.
I'll tell you what, right? You talk about that a minute. I'm going for a wee-wee.
I'll give my thoughts. I think that people forgot about it already.
Don't worry, I'm walking away already.
I thought it was another sign of how when people on the internet these days get together, they can make people's lives pretty miserable. I think people are learning more and more that strength in numbers on the internet can truly have a negative effect on other people. Likewise, people are learning that when they get together and strengthen numbers and all decide to contribute to Child's Play or buy the the humble indie bundle, that there's power in that. So the internet, people are grasping more and more that connecting with other people, organizing, and doing either terrible things like putting PSN down for all that time, or good things can really have the effect of change. I don't know why those people, what are they called? The Occupy people just sitting around in a park? It's surprising that they thought that was going to do anything, because so far so bad. If they had just got on the internet and made some changes there, decided actually what they want to do, and then did it, use that time they spent out in a tent yelling. If they had taken that time and applied it to something online with a little tech skill, maybe something good would have come of that whole thing. Instead, they just got kicked out, and now they're cleaning the fields where they once sat. Jim, are you back yet?
I'm back. Actually, I could hear a little bit of you because I was this
close one.
Just next
door. That was
door.
a real. I tried to monologue as much as I could about Occupy Boston.
You did well, man. You did well.
I did fine. I did all right.
Fuck, why don't we... Let's go Occupy Boston. We can do that. I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah, it's all right. We can occupy it. It feels good. Another guy, Marshall Henderson, who I talk to a lot on Twitter.
I'll tell you what, you don't really know how pissed you are until you actually go toilet.
That shows you. That's
always it. When you're in the toilet and then you're just like, everything is weird and you're just staggering about. That's always the moment.
You're fairly drunk. Yeah. You're not as drunk as you were at the Sonic party, but you're fairly drunk. Marshall Anderson wants to know, how do we feel about our work this year? Do you think this was a good year in terms of what we did? You feel like you did a good job this year, Jim?
I think I worked hard this year.
You did.
I think my main problem is I actually tweeted and Facebooked this the other night. I think I've put a lot of effort in the wrong things this year.
Really?
I think there are a few things that I could do with working less hard on and putting that effort somewhere else. So the creed for next year is less work, bigger gains. There are be that monetarily or just like, in terms of my career.
Sure.
Already that is coming to pass. I've got stuff lined up. I'm trying to work on a new video series that isn't the Jimquisition, something different. And again, I'm trying to just get higher profile with things because, I do well in my career. People know who I am and stuff. We could always be better. So that's my plan for next year is not work so hard, because sometimes I feel like I'm treading water, but I'm like really frantically doing something. But it's like hit a glass ceiling and I can't get any higher than that. So the plan is to scale back and be a bit more selective in what I do, but make sure that what I do is really cool. And of course, you and I are doing some stuff in the new year as well, which is going to be cool.
I feel optimistic about that. Yeah, that'll be good. That's a great way of looking at it. I've noticed that telling people you're famous works and makes you more famous. I don't like doing that, but I just told people, oh yeah, that stupid video series I did for 2 months was worth making a song about and a music video about, and why don't you make a song about it too? 15 people contributed really good songs for that Talking to Women About Video Games album, which will probably come out either tomorrow or Friday. And more people are working on it now. I just told them this is important enough for you to work on. And they're like, oh, well, if you said so, sure. And as a result, they did stuff that's way better than anything I ever did. Some of the songs on there are... There's one in particular, Jim, you're going to like... that the composer for Gratuitous Space Battles did. I think you're going to like it. It may be too much like something you would do, so it'll have that bizarro effect where you're like, oh, this is like me, except a little bit off. But the composer for the video game Gratuitous Space Battles, which was on the Humble Indie Bundle 4, he wrote a song about how my anus is mentioned in the song.
Brilliant.
Yeah, just anuses in general.
Nice.
The stuff he thinks went on between me and the women on the show, he really extrapolates a lot and gets pretty inappropriate, but sings it in a style that really brings it home. I'm looking forward to you hearing that one. Yeah, there's a lot of the songs on it are really, really good. I couldn't be happier about how that turned out. So yeah, what I learned this year was if I would have put myself out there a little bit more, asked people to contribute to things I'm doing and collaboratively work on things. It's not like I'm such small potatoes that people aren't going to work with me. If I say, hey, I want to, you compose this video game, why don't we do a song together? They'll actually get back and get it done. They've gotten a lot of awesome stuff done.
I wish that worked in getting a PlayStation Vita. I'm like, yo, Sony, I do Destructoid and stuff on the Escapist. Give me a Vita. And they're like, oh, we'll tell you next at the end of the week. And that was like 3 weeks ago.
Son of a bitch.
Fuck them. I'll burn Sony to the ground.
You will. You will, and it'll work too. When they burn down, then that'll be that.
They'll be like, oh, we should have given it a PS Vita. We are now
burned down that warehouse, son of a bitch. I guess we have to close
and
up shop.
And somehow he's gotten away with it scot-free.
It could happen. Do you want to do any more questions, Jim, or should we wrap up the show?
I do not have the plans I thought I was going to have.
Oh, yeah?
I'm free to answer some more questions, mate.
Oh, free to answer more questions, mate. That was great.
Don't make fun of me. That was xenophobic.
Why don't you do the unintentionally sarcastic sounding old man, Jim? I've been working on it. I think you can do it. I'll do one real quick for you. Oh, Jim, you're so cute. I really want to kiss your little face. So that was one. Now you do one. You do it. You can do it.
Oh, Jonathan Holmes. That sound like, hello, I'm David Bowie. Guys, I'm gonna have sex with you. Well, so it's just David Bowie at this point. Hey.
He is an unintentionally sarcastic sounding old man, though, David Bowie.
It's a crystal, nothing more. But if you turn it this way, it'll show you your dreams. Oh, Major Tom. Oh.
I think he's pretty sarcastic.
That is the unintentionally sarcastic David Bowie.
Hey guys,
hey, I'm David Bowie. Dance, magic dance.
The Labyrinth songs, which very few people know, compared to his hits like Golden Years and Funny Little Fat Man, that one he sang about David Brent or whatever that guy's name is.
Funny Little Fat Man.
That's a good episode.
Remember 10 years. I'm David.
You're having a great time. You are having a great time. That's fun. That's fun for me to be around. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to ask you another question then from a Swedish friend, Brooke OC. Is his Twitter name. Andreas Schlott. I'm sorry, I can't. It's got one of those O's that has a line through it, like a zero in his name. I'm very confused. Do you guys think that collector's editions of games are worth buying? Or at least what type of them do you think are? I think he means worth buying. I think that, just like anything, if you get more product than you think your money is worth, then you're on the winning end of the deal. I thought that the Skyrim Collector's Edition looked really good. There was tons and tons of stuff which they could have charged more for on that. But that was only, what, $90 or something like that, Jim?
It was pretty
expensive.
It was pretty expensive.
Yeah,
it was like over
just a dragon statue alone can cost you $90 on the streets. If it says Skyrim on it, particularly. So yeah, if they, and I'm hoping they're just going to continue to sweeten the deal more and more, because retail is having to fight harder and harder to justify its own existence.
The thing that pisses me off.
Yeah,
is eventually we go into this digital dispensation.
Yeah, this digital dispensation.
This digital
sounding.
Yeah, digital dystopia.
Yes.
Which is gonna be the name of my band. We go into this digital distribution. And it's like, well, haha, EA, you cunts. I've got you now, because you can't do collector's editions anymore. And you can't fleece money off us that way. And EA's like, ha ha ha, Jim, you fat tits. I think you're wrong. Digital Deluxe! Suck my digital cock! And so, it's like, they're still going to do collector's editions, but they're going to have, like, significantly less value, because they're still going to charge us $80, $90, but now it's like, buy this digital deluxe version and get a little robot that follows you around and does fuck all. And it's like, I like the idea of the collector's edition in theory, but when we move into the digital format, I'm worried we're just going to have these constant digital deluxe versions. And we won't get, like, cool statues anymore. We won't get statues. We won't get golden Sonic rings. We won't get fucking, replica guns like in Dead Space. It's just going to be digital stuff. And they're still going to charge the same money, and it won't be as cool. That's my
virtual goods thing is, I'm not into the virtual goods collector's side at all.
I'm in it in theory, but again, it's abused so much. So it's the same with collector's editions. I love the idea. I actually do like the idea of collector's editions. I think they're cool. But I think you've got to have at least one game on store shelves before you bring out a collector's edition. Because if you're a brand new IP and people don't know if they're fans of it or not yet, I just think it's arrogant. It's arrogant to do that. I think it was arrogant when BioShock brought out a collector's edition for the first game. I thought it was arrogant when Assassin's Creed does it. I think it's definitely arrogant when it's a game that's not even going to do very well. Vanguard did it.
What? Vanguard? What's that?
Exactly. That was a Platinum Games game, which I thought was shit. Some people thought it was...
Oh, Vanquish.
Oh, sorry, Vanquish. I'm the idiot. I am the fool.
Vanguard's Atari 5200.
That is. I prostrate myself before the wisdom of the internet. I apologize. It was Vanquish.
Well, the thing is, I do think that for Assassin's Creed and BioShock, it worked, because when you launch those new IPs, you need to come off as really cocky and confident, because otherwise people won't be confident in your product either. It didn't work for Vanquish, though, because that is not a game that a lot of people actually wanted to play.
I mean, I do get there was enough hype, but I just, to me, it still smacks of just arrogance, to come out with a collector's edition. It's like, if I want a collector's edition of something, it's because I'm a fan of something. Give me BioShock 2, Assassin's Creed 2, by then people know they're fans. Personally, I mean, I'd want collector's editions for, like, venerated series. Things that have earned the pedigree. I'm talking, your Fallout, your Nintendo stuff, like Zelda, those the games that really earned it. Nowadays, everything has a collector's edition, and it means nothing anymore. It's not special to have a collector's edition. I could go out to a store and buy a fucking collector's edition of anything for cheaper than it came out at launch. It's like, it's not exactly a limited special edition when I can just... I mean, Best Buy was selling Dead Space 2 limited editions for like $10 the other week. It's like, is that really special anymore? And we've got brand new games that might not sell well, don't have a fan base yet. Kingdoms of Amalur, as much as I'm looking forward to it, they've got like 2 different special editions. This is a brand new IP with no fan base yet. They got 2 special editions, one of which is $200. $200. It's got like a troll set. I think stuff signed by some people. And it's like, dude, really? I mean, how many of those are you going to sell? How soon will it be until they are being sold for $10 in Best Buy, like the Dead Space 2 thing? Well, Dead Space 2, I mean, that's a sequel, and that's sold for, like, the limited edition still sells for peanuts now. Killzone 3 as well. I doubt it takes much effort to find a Hellgast edition of that game. And these are bigger franchises. These have their fan bases. And there's still not enough people willing to drop that cash. And I just think it's a shame, because in theory, like a lot of things, like freemium, like DLC, in theory, I like it, but because of the abuse that it suffered, it means nothing anymore. So, you know, every time someone says a collector's edition, it's like, I mean, you're going to have to really wow me, especially with the way they've competed. You know, we've got fucking night vision goggles with Modern Warfare 2. We've had, you know, all these kind of statues and weirder things. There was a remote control bomb car for Black Ops, you know?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Did Ice-T enjoy that?
Ice-T loved it, yeah. So it's like, it takes so much now to impress me, and, you know, there's nothing special about it anymore, and I think that's a shame, because the idea of the collector's edition is nice, if it's a game that deserves it, and if publishers could restrain themselves and just use it for a special game.
I think that using, like you said, restraining themselves and use it for a special game, or just pack in stuff but not charge extra. Like Zelda Skyward Sword came with a soundtrack, just came with it, no additional cost. People called it a collector's edition. They assumed it was something other than normal. And I think down the line they're not going to include that CD with the next printings of the game, but still, it was just a giveaway, because hey, you bought our product. You could have downloaded another game on XBLA that has similar graphics in terms of fidelity as Skyward Sword, but hey, you came out and you bought a game, and we're going to reward you for it. They did the same with the Bit Trip collection, Bit Trip Complete on the Wii. They just gave away the soundtrack. So
Dark Souls did it as well. They had a collector's tin with a lot of digital stuff and stuff inside. So
that's great. Yeah. So the more they give us at retail, I think the better retail will survive, and the more happy we will be. But you're right; they shouldn't just sell us a bunch of crap for an inflated price.
But it's like when brand new IP are coming out with collector's editions. There's nothing special to it anymore. It's become expected. And when I want a limited edition, I want something unexpected and nice, you know? And you don't get that anymore. Not even with some of the stuff. Like, I've got some collector's editions. I like them. I like the Skyrim one. I like the Space Marine one well enough. But they don't really feel special. They don't feel like, wow, I got something rare and unique and cool.
Yeah.
They've become so disposable. Even if it's something I'm a fan of, I'm like, I can stand to miss the collector's edition.
Well, it's like the death of Superman. Do you remember that, Jim? They were like, rare comic coming out, the death of Superman. He's going to die 2 months from now. Superman dead. Look for this cover. It's got a bloody Superman S on it. He'll be dead. Collector's item in the making. Buy it. And they printed, 15 million of them, so everyone bought them. They're now worth 15 cents because it's not a collector's item if everyone has one. If there's millions of them out in the market. Yeah. Indeed.
Ho-hum.
I like to end a conversation with an indeed. Do you want any more questions, Jim, or you want to wrap it up? It's up to you.
You can. I've still got a bit before the lady comes home, so...
Okay, I gotta write this review. I got ice cream or ice cream cake, asks Carson the Tuna. Carson Smith. Ice cream or ice cream cake?
Ice cream. Ice cream cake is just too much work for me.
Yeah, it's too complicated. It takes too much thought. I don't want to think.
It's like a threesome.
Exactly. I've said that about
It's like, I want my
threesomes
sex
before.
to just be, 2 or less.
Yeah, it's
I'm not.
complicated.
Yeah,
Oh, Jesus.
don't spoil a decent thing.
Have you seen that Burt Reynolds movie? The Man Who Loved Women?
No, but that's a
It's
great title.
you should. Out of all the men they could have made a movie about, this is the one who loved women. And he's played by Burt Reynolds. And at one point, he's starting to have a threesome, and there's terribly unnecessary voiceover by Burt Reynolds going like, "I felt a hand caress my lower back and near my buttocks. It was confusing. There was you really have to see it to believe it. I think I saw a nipple out of the corner of my eye, and then a hairy beaver to my left, and wow, I'll never do that again." He's really taken aback by his threesome. Then he gets hit by a car, and then it ends. Anyway, on to the questions. Vlad Zhao, who I talked about earlier. Hello, Vlad. He says, do you guys think there's anything the PS Vita could do to sell more than the 3DS? If so, what?
Sell it for $10.
Yeah, price drop
It's
and Monster Hunter.
It would work.
Yeah, in Japan, price drop Monster Hunter. That's what worked for the 3DS in Japan.
There is always something a company can do to sell more than another company's hardware. Whether they're prepared to do it or not is another thing, and Sony, I don't think, are prepared to drop the price of the PS Vita just yet. I think it's going to happen. I've said this before. I think we're going to have a repeat of history. The PS Vita will do well in the long run. It will not beat the 3DS, and some people will take that to mean a failure, but on its own terms, it will succeed.
Yeah. I'm already more excited about the Vita than I was about the PSP based on launch titles alone. But I'm really hopeful.
Excited about the Vita. Yeah,
me too. I'm hoping that third parties can figure out what games are best on the 3DS and which ones are best on the Vita, because Capcom in particular really failed at that, I think, of the DS and the PSP. They put Mega Man Powered Up, which is clearly a Nintendo audience type game, on the PSP, and it completely bombed. And they put a Resident Evil 1 remake on the DS, which really struggled to even recreate PS1 quality graphics on the DS, when that would have made tons of money on the PSP. In fact, I don't think they ever made one Resident Evil game on the PSP, which is just so backwards.
They kind of did. They had the PS1 classics on the PS3, which could be transferred. I played Resident Evil 2 on the PSP using that method.
But that's the kind of, when they make the player jump through that many hoops, I know Nintendo gets bagged on a lot for doing that, because they do. They make the player or the consumer jump through a lot of hoops before they can even buy a product. But I think I managed to download a classic or a demo from my PS3 to my PSP like once. I think it was Patapon 2, and it took like an hour and a half to get it on there.
Yeah, that's the problem.
System update and blah, blah, blah.
Sony's infrastructure is just so convoluted and slow.
You can't make it work that hard. It just isn't going to work. You're not going to sell anything.
It's like Sony makes amazing machines. Amazing. The PS3 is an amazing device. But the hoops, the unnecessary steps, and the slowness is ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. And I'm angry not because, he wants the PS3 to fail. I'm angry because I like the PS3, I like the PSP, and I hope I'm going to really like the PS Vita. And I don't want to see great technology ruined like that. I don't want to see great technology, have its knees cut out from under it because some idiot decided to put these unnecessary barriers between the user and the experience. I don't want that. I want a PS Vita where I can just fucking hit a button, play a game, hit a button, stream stuff from my PS3, convenient. That's what technology is always striving to be, convenient in every other technological avenue, in every other piece of entertainment. Everything's been going toward convenience. That's what people pay for. There is a reason why music revenue went up over the past few years and piracy went down. because of iTunes, because of Amazon's MP3 store, because it became convenient to buy music again. That's what sells, convenience, not fucking DRM, not fucking, exclusivity. People will stop pirating. People will buy brand new if you make the experience convenient. When I turn on a PSP, I'm going to have to sit and download the latest firmware update. I'm going to have to navigate a slow-ass fucking internet connection, especially on the PSP Go, which was using dated technology when it fucking came out.
I forgot that existed, the PSP Go.
I've still got it. It's in my desk, and my desk feels like black and tormented just for having it in there like some just oily filth. But, we've got Netflix now. Press a button, stream a movie. People pay for that. We've got iTunes. Click a button, download any song you want, unless the record label's a dick and forces you to buy an album, idiots. We've got that. It's so convenient. And the games industry seems to be going the other fucking way, trying to make things as complex as possible. It's no wonder piracy is so rampant on PC and console, because you're making it inconvenient. And there's a reason why Valve and Steam are doing so well. Convenience. That's what sells. Not even quality at this point. You want to sell games, you make them easy to buy, easy to download, and easy to fucking play.
That's right. And get other people playing them, so people are talking about them, so people think that's the game they're supposed to play, and it creates a cult of personality that sells itself. I agree 100%. But I think the problem is...
I want to get a PS Vita at the end of the day. Put in a...
Yeah, we'll get...
put in the memory stick or whatever, and fucking play it. That's all I want.
That's right. They think, though, that, a lot of people in the industry think that gamers are willing to work harder and pay more money and be more, pushed around because we have, I guess. We have a history of having a weird sort of devotion and capacity for accepting abuse that, moviegoers wouldn't put up with that sort of stuff. DVD, you want to sell a DVD, you sell a DVD for a discount when it first comes out. You put a DVD out at Target or at record store. You sell it for $5 cheaper to get people to buy it, so they'll tell their friends to buy it, and then you put the price back to quotes normal unquotes after a couple of weeks. Video games, they charge more off the bat and then drop the price a few months later and make everyone who bought it new feel like an idiot and just say, oh yeah, accept.
Yeah, the trouble is, I think that's starting to backfire on them. I think gamers now are getting savvy. They realise, why am I buying a game for $60? A week later, it's going to be $50 or even cheaper. The games industry needs to fucking wake up and realise that they can't keep doing what they're doing. They're still thinking it's the 90s, and it's not anymore. And gamers are starting to... the thing is, I think game publishers look at the stuff on N4G or Destructoid comments, game FAQs, where people are willing to lay down their life to white knight a fucking faceless corporation that doesn't know they exist. And they think, all gamers must be like this. But when you look at it, on the other hand, you get these developers and publishers complaining that piracy is so high or used games are so popular. I wonder why. Maybe it's because you made everything so fucking inconvenient. Maybe it's because you made everything so fucking expensive. Meanwhile, Valve is doing well, selling discounted games that often go into ridiculously good bargains and deals. Digitally, with one click, you buy it, download it, easy. You'll have that game in your house by the night. iTunes is doing really well. Click a button, buy a game, 99 cents, everybody wins. Even movies, Netflix is gaining popularity. Click a button, look at a movie, stream it straight away. Every other entertainment medium, and even some outlets within gaming, are winning through convenience. And I can't stress that enough. I know I've said that word a lot, but that is the key word. And when you inconvenience people, when you put DRM in and say, hey, you've got to be online all the time to play this game, when you put online passes in your game and say, oh, hey, you've got to put in a 25-digit code on a fucking 360 controller just to play a shitty multiplayer mode we put in just to inconvenience you, that ain't gonna fucking work. I don't care. That is not going to fucking ever work. No. We know this. We know this when the fucking RIAA tried to fight Napster, tried to fight online music downloads, and fucking tried to charge $15 for a CD. And look what happened. The RIAA and all the record labels attached had to acquiesce and realize, oh, hey, we're going to have to start selling things on iTunes now and break our music up because we can't keep charging people $15 to buy the one song on the album they actually want. This is what's going to need to happen in gaming. Otherwise, a bunch of companies are going to get fucked in the fucking ass.
Well, someone will do it, and then everyone who doesn't will fall by the wayside, no matter how big they are now. Nintendo's already suffered a bit from it with the way they handled online. And it seems like they're trying to make up for it now. I hope that they are. They talk a good game, and they've made some strides, I think, with the 3DS in terms of online connectivity. You can just see a friend on your friend list, join game now. That never would have happened.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, Nintendo, in its amazingly blind and flailing way, they're actually, by sticking to the old way of doing things, they're actually representing the new way consumers buy stuff. Because I buy a 3DS, I clip in a cartridge, and play my game. Convenient, easy.
Oh, sure, yeah.
That's what people want, and the Wii has no strings attached.
There's no
play a game.
Mandatory downloads. There's no must update. I mean, they do update like once a year.
They do an update once a year, and it can be slow, but it's not like the PS3 where every time I turn it on, I've got new firmware to download. It's more convenient, even though a lot about Nintendo's business practices are outdated and convoluted and could stand to be streamlined. In their weird, anachronistic way, as Nintendo are so brilliant at doing, they are representing, I think, what consumers on the whole want. They want no frills, no fuss. They want to be able to buy something and play it straight away. And again, like I say, that's what the iTunes model is doing, that's what Steam's been doing, that's what Good Old Games is doing, it's what Netflix is doing, and it's what the likes of Sony and Microsoft are not doing, and needs to do desperately.
I still can't believe the 360 doesn't have a web browser. It's so weird to me. That's a little bit of a tangent, though. Jack Hollow wants us to sing a serenade to each other about how great of friends we are. Do you want to try to do that?
Yeah.
It's up to you, yeah? Do you want to start, or would you like me to start?
Jonathan Holmes, you say you're famous, but I want to take you in the anus.
That's
gonna bend you down now. Gonna fuck you in your hole until you say no more, no more.
That's how I would say it too. No more.
That's my serenade to you. And my throat's starting to hurt a bit, and I'm drunk, so it is bad singing. But that was my special song to you.
I've never had a friend sing to me quite that way before, and I appreciate it. I'm not sure if I could follow it up. I don't know. Jim Sterling, you are burning my anus with thine poker of pork. I'm trying to keep up with you. It's hard. That's all I got. I'm going to end on a high note there.
Brilliant.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I'll end on a high note.
That's how you ended your song on the Christmas album.
That is how I ended my song.
Yeah, it's a good ending. People like the ending a lot on there. McNires wants to know what our opinion of Danny Glover is. I think he's the greatest American actor of our generation.
That's the best question ever.
Yeah. He's the finest thespian that our generation has managed to churn out.
He beat a Predator in single combat, so...
What hasn't he done? He's run a video store. He's beat a Predator in single combat. He's kissed Angelica Houston. He's been whipped. He's kept Mel Gibson from killing himself. The list goes on. Danny Glover.
Well, I mean, that last one probably wouldn't boast about.
That's before Mel Gibson made everyone hate him.
I don't know. That makes Danny Glover sound like America's greatest monster now.
I still want to see that Mel Gibson movie directed by Jodie Foster where he has a beaver puppet that he thinks is real. It's called Beaver. I think that might redeem Mel Gibson to me. I might love him again. You know about that movie? Jodie Foster directed it.
I don't know. For some reason, it sounds like it's something I should have known once.
It's called Beaver. Picture Mel Gibson with a beaver puppet on his hand, talking to it very seriously and emphatically with like raised eyebrows and a big open mouth, like "No!" You know, that sort of thing.
Oh my god!
Does the voice of the beaver and everything. Yeah, it's a good movie. I haven't seen it, but it's a good movie. Anyway, yeah. What are your thoughts on Danny Glover, Jim?
Like I said, Predator, single combat. He is the man.
Yeah, he's grumbly about it too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's annoyed. He's annoyed when he fought that Predator.
Yeah. What is this thing? He's not even scared.
Predator.
Yeah. Oh.
If I have to.
He doesn't really want to have to worry about it. I guess I'll take him out.
Here comes Gary Busey. Oh god.
I forgot Gary Busey was in that. Oh, Predator 2 is so underrated. It's so entertaining. It's not good. It's not convincing at all. It's not a movie that makes you feel like...
fucking Gary Busey, Danny Glover, Bill Paxton, and
I forgot Paxton.
The Predator goes, "You want a piece of candy?" So it's the film that literally has everything.
Doesn't it go to like a... Maybe I dreamt this, but I thought it went to a graveyard and like talked to a kid at a funeral. Did that happen in Predator 2?
No, the Predator meets a little girl in the park.
Oh.
She says, "Want a piece of candy" to it, and then it records the voice. And Bill Paxton has been killed by a Predator. He has been killed by an alien and has met a Terminator. So that's what he's done with his career.
What movie?
Hurry up, Jonathan Holmes. He was in the first Terminator.
I forgot that.
The gang member.
Or something?
He was.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
He's great at that. Hey man, chilly or whatever he says. Yeah, you cold out? It's cold out. How do you feel? So annoying, that Paxton. I gotta love him.
Oh, yeah.
You remember when Jeff Goldblum used to only play like angry punks?
I remember when Jeff Goldblum looked like a fish man, which is all the time. My wife thinks he's really attractive. I think he looks like a boglin.
My wife also thinks he's very attractive.
I don't get it.
Well, he seems like he'd accept a weird
I'm Jeff Goldblum. Chaos Theory. I was in Captain Planet. Brundlefly.
Your wife is weird. My wife is weird. Jeff Goldblum is weird. Weird women want to find a guy who's going to put up with their weirdness, and he seems like he would. But we do too. We put up with their weirdness, right? We even like it.
But then I guess if Jeff Goldblum walked in, they would sex him and leave us alone, and then we would have to sex each other, Jonathan Holmes.
Is that right? That's the first I've heard of such an idea from you.
That is definitely.
You and I may have sex.
That's the law. King Obama said so.
That when Jeff Goldblum enters a room and the wives become totally magnetized to his sexuality and forego any sexual relations with their husbands, then the husbands just must copulate.
Oh, big time.
Big time copulation, that's right. A guy named Alexis Brosseau wants to know what our favorite NES game is, but you don't like NES games, do you, Jim?
Huh?
Do you like any NES games? Any Nintendo Entertainment System games, Jim?
They're all shit. I mean, I've got fond memories of some of them, but I know objectively that they're shit.
Yeah.
You know.
You've got a favorite though. You've got a favorite shit in there.
I like the Kirby one.
Yeah.
I was playing it
on the yes.
Yeah, I was playing it on the 3D Classics. I like that. That's cool. You know, I've got fond memories of Bart versus the Space Mutants, but it's fucking awful.
That's a bad game.
It's terrible.
Even
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES. I got fond memories of it. It's fucking dreadful.
That's a hard game to like. Once Donatello dies, it's pretty much the end of the game for you because he's the only one who has any decent reach and power in his attacks. Yeah, the NES has a lot of bad games that were popular, which is a reminder to me. Like these days, there's a lot of popular games that I don't think are worth the attention. I think they're well-made games, but they're not worth being the most popular games. I won't name any names, but you can probably guess which games I'm talking about. And I think, oh, I think in the good old days that never happened. No, there are some terrible games that were really, really popular in the NES game, in the NES era, and in the 16-bit era. Revenge of Shinobi. I love the music. Not that good.
Was that on the NES?
No, that I'm moving into the Genesis now.
Because I remember playing it on the Genesis. That was one of my favorite games.
I loved that Batman was in it. I loved that the Terminator was in it. I loved things about it that were marketing.
It was Spider-Man that was in Revenge of Shinobi.
Spider-Man and Batman and
was it Batman as well? Oh,
yeah. Actually, Spider-Man turns into Batman.
Oh fuck yeah! It's fucking coming back to me now.
Yeah, I loved it. I try to play it now. And sure, standards have changed. At the time, that was top-notch. But even Shinobi 3 is much better than Revenge of Shinobi. Revenge of Shinobi is the one I remember the most fondly, but if I was forced to play one for an entire day, I would not pick that out of the Shinobi series. It's not that good.
The biggest problem with Revenge of Shinobi is the armor they put on him is pink, but it covers his calves and his arms. So it looks like it's just his skin, so he looks sunburned.
Oh yeah, I never thought about that. He changes all sorts of colors in that game. Yeah, he just doesn't he get like a weird electric shield around him too? That game doesn't make
like an electric shield. The bosses used to change like beautiful colors. I think sometimes it was worth fighting those bosses just to see what funky colors they turned into when you knocked a preset fraction of their life off.
I do miss those days of trying to show off, we've got 20 colors in this game, and we're going to show you every one. There was a certain charm that came from that. Yeah. Speaking of ninjas, Sir Toby taught me about something I meant to tell you about, and Max. There's a director named Godfrey Ho. I think that's his name. Have you heard of him?
No.
Just look him up. Just when you're done doing this, whoever you are, Jim Sterling, regardless, look up the films of Godfrey Ho when you are done listening to this podcast. He made Ninja Assassin 5. He made Zombie vs. Ninja. He made Ninja Technique 3, Eat All Ninjas. The amount of ninja movies he made, Ninja Myth. I could go on and on. He's really good. You got to see his movies.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're very Revenge of Shinobi, the movie feel to them, except much, much worse. They're some of the worst movies I've ever seen. You want to do one more question?
Hey, let's do one more. Let's go hog wild.
Okay, Mr. Ross. I think do I know him? I don't know. He's in Scotland. He says, what studio do you see as doing the most to push gaming forwards? I guess let's do that as looking into 2012. Who do you think is going to do the most to push gaming forward in 2012, Jim? I know it's hard to be optimistic.
Most studios only put out one game a year. It's hard to push gaming forward with that.
Sure.
I don't know. It's
well, you've got Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony. Out of them, do you have? I know it's I think it's not so much optimism, but varying degrees of pessimism. Who are you least pessimistic about for 2012?
I don't know.
It's hard for you.
I can pick individual games that I'm looking forward to, but it's a hard question to answer. Is like which studio will push gaming forward? I'm sure there are some indie guys that will be doing something really unique and mind-blowing, but will it push the industry forward? No, because no one's going to copy that business model or whatever they're doing. I guess, just in terms of technology, Sony with the PS Vita is probably going to really show what you can do on a handheld and amaze people. I guess that's the most I could talk about when it comes to actually influencing the industry. And I have no idea how the Wii U's going to do. Maybe that's going to push things forward and disrupt and amaze us, but we've seen so little of it, I cannot say for sure what they're doing. Nintendo's so unpredictable. You cannot definitively say Nintendo will do something, because 9 times out of 10 they will not do it.
They'll do it differently than they said, or just not do it at all.
Or they'll do what you predicted, but in such a weird, complex way that you're still confused.
And with a big smile on their face, too. I love it. They come out, And like, you remember that thing we said we were gonna do? Here's
Yeah.
what we're doing now. And you're like, what? And you know that they love that they just confuse the life out of you. I think whoever brings Steam to consoles first will push the gaming forward a lot. Some people say Nintendo is going to do that with the Wii U. I have heard some inside people saying that Valve has been talking to Wii U. I mean, to Nintendo, but I don't know about what. And I'm sure Valve talks with everybody, so that doesn't count for a lot. I think, yeah, Steam coming to consoles. I think whoever can create a home portable experience, because I really do think that gaming not on the TV but at home is going to get bigger and bigger. The Wii U is going to try to do that. The PS Vita is going to try to do that. I assume Microsoft's going to try to do it too, because gaming is becoming more and more something that people do not just when they're a single person, not in a family, not sharing a TV, but people who are married and have kids are doing it more and more too. And every person I know with a spouse says, yeah, it's causing conflicts. I want to play Skyrim. She wants to watch the Supernatural marathon this weekend, and we fight about it, and then I end up losing and watching Supernatural, and it sucks. I wish I could have just played that on my. I wish I could have played that on my couch. And with the Wii U is going to allow you to do that, and the PS Vita is going to allow you to do that. So, I think whoever really capitalizes on that and makes it appealing will push gaming forward in that arena too. So those are my two guesses, Mr. Ross. I hope you liked them.
Wow.
And I think that's it.
Are
we done with the show?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I got to write this review.
Yeah. Fucking hell, we managed it like over 2 hours.
Just you and me.
It'll be a short one. We did it. We did it, guys. Yeah. GG. We sorted it out.
We did fine. I wish Max and Tara were here. I think people are going to be disappointed they weren't here, but we'll get them back.
Don't say that. Don't give them clues.
I can't help it. I'm disappointed. I love the Max Scoville jokes and the Tara Long dry wit. I missed it this week, but we held up the fort.
Well, we
kept the conversation
They're
going.
lucky they're getting one.
That's true.
Most people are complaining about it. They are. I can hear them.
And people said, I never thought this would happen. People said, oh, you guys deserve a week off. Don't worry about it. I miss your show, but hey.
I chose to take offense to that. Oh, yeah, you don't need to do it this week. Don't worry about it. Don't do it. Just don't do Podtoid. But then I did have other people that were like, I've got to go to work in 3 hours. Can I expect podcasts? Or, are you going to do this? Are you going to entertain me or not? Guys, come on, fucking sort it out, you cunts.
I was going to say about, people question our methods on this show. But what they don't understand is to get someone who doesn't like podcasts to listen to a podcast. I know this wasn't your intention, but I think this is part of why the show is successful. Most human beings I know do not want to listen to a podcast at all. They're like, listen to other people talk to each other. I'll pass on that. That sounds like a lot of work. That's a lot of information I have to encode into my brain when I'd rather be relaxing. We managed to make this show relatively stimulating on a regular basis. This is what non-podcast people and hopefully podcast people want. It's a stimulating 2 hours of anal rape accusations.
I'll tell you what, I will stimulate you for 2 hours, Jonathan Holmes. When my penis enters your anus and
that's good. People like that whole thing, right? I've been trying to wrestle with the whole anal sex thing for a while, Jim.
Oh, don't worry, you'll be wrestling with...
People like it, huh? They want the thing to stick into the hole there and mush around. You got to clean out your whole digestive tract first.
Yeah,
right?
They want me to lube up my penis, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Up and down the shaft, down to the balls. Okay.
Whoa, that's a lot of shaft. That's the whole shaft. You're
down
saying.
All the way. Fuck it. Grease up the balls as well. Put the whole turkey in the shop. That's what they want, and I think we should give that to them, Jonathan. As a Christmas present, I think I should fly out to your house and anally welcome you.
Wow. So I'd be the one welcoming you, really, because my anus.
That is true. They want you to. Yeah, you have to. Yeah. It's cold outside. Stick it in. Warm your hands by a roaring fire at Christmas time.
No, my only experiences with the butt is that it hurts a little sometimes when poop comes out. That's all I can say. It's the only thing I can imagine anal sex is like is just a bad reverse poop. That would
It'll
hurt.
be good. It'll be good. Don't you worry about it.
I'll trust you.
You're in the hands of a master.
That's pretty cliche to say that you imagine anal sex is like a reverse poop, isn't it? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be cliche, everyone. It's just...
I saw that written in a porno story once, and it was supposed to be erotic. It felt so good when I stuck that dildo up my ass. It was like taking a shit in reverse. And I'm like, that doesn't strike me as erotic in any way.
I wanna read that story now. That sounds like a pretty funny story.
And that was basically a woman stuck something up her ass and then she came a bit. And there wasn't much else to the story.
Huh, yeah, good story. Thank you for the story.
I mean, she may have been stimulating her clitoris at the same time, but I would have to reread the story, and I don't know where to find that now. What am I, an archivist?
I'll look. I'll try looking it up for you. Yeah, I could say more about. I told you about that old lady that only wanted to have anal sex with high school boys, right? I told you about that, right? No, I somehow overlooked that.
Something tells me it's worth telling again.
Well, I kind of just spilled the beans. Yeah, she was a lady.
I bet she spilled the beans as well.
She was a nice lady. We got along really well. I'd see her around. She loved pornography. She held a film festival in right outside of Boston called, I think, like Do It Yourself, or you ought to be in pictures. It was called, which is just all homemade porn. Really awkward. No music, just close up of like a flabby thrusting ass for like 25 minutes. And, I'm like, so why do you do this? She's like, well, I've always been something of a sexual deviant. Recently, I've discovered that the only thing that really turns me on anymore is seducing high school boys and having them anally do me in a car outside of the school. I'm like, really? You do that? Only the butt? She's like, only the butt. Feels good, man. I'm like, okay.
She seems quite open and happy about it.
She was really cool about it.
I mean, is that pedophilia or not, though? That's the question. I think that's coming through the listeners' minds right now.
Yeah, you're probably right. It is the close cousin to pedophilia, which you're probably aware of. I believe it's pronounced I'm pronouncing this so wrong right now. It's like
hepatitis C.
It's ephebophilia.
Ephebophilia. Heffalumps and woozlephilia.
And that is having the preference to have sex with people whom are no longer prepubescent or pubescent, but are in fact have gone through puberty. Like the boys she wanted were muscular, had pubic hair, had their voices had dropped, so they weren't children.
They were just legally kind of in Britain. She'd have been okay.
Oh yeah, what's the law there?
That's 16. So would she been? Yeah. I'm not sure what age high schoolers are.
She was shooting for 16, 17, not quite graduated from high school, but able to drive.
So basically it's pedophilia in America, but in Britain,
it's
fair
game in America. It's illegal, but it's not necessarily immoral to be a ephebophiliac. And in Japan, they're all about it. They want 16-year-olds who look like they have the bodies of full-grown women, but the personalities of confused.
Well, in Japan, they kill any female who reaches the age of 17, and 50-year-old men are having sex with these 16-year-olds who have no one else to date because they kill the men as well. So it's just in Japan, there's only 50-year-old men and 16-year-old girls.
I did not know that.
So I've heard.
I miss Japan a lot. There's this new Japanese game coming out. I was going to write about it tonight, but I'm probably too busy. Did you see the trailer for it, Jim? Kiki Trick?
Kiki Trick?
Yeah, Kiki Trick.
No.
It is by Sakamoto. I can't remember his first name. He is the director of the Metroid series. He did Other M. Everyone hates him because he did that. But he also did WarioWare. And it looks like he's taking WarioWare to the next level where it just is Japanese TV condensed and made slightly weirder, but not so weird that it seems like a joke. Like you honestly can't tell if it's just real Japanese TV or not. There's a guy go, oh, my stomach, and it'll be like, take this shit and it'll make your stomach feel better, just like a weird pill bomb. And then it'll switch to a girl being like, oh, where's the fish? Where's the fish? And then drink this fish water. Just like all these really weird commercials condensed with like a game show, and oh, it's nuts. I can't wait. Kiki Trick.
That sounds great.
Yeah, check it out, man.
Yeah. But yeah, that was fun. Let's do a 2-man podcast while Max and Tara are away. It'll make for a shorter podcast. And I think we've done longer than we have in weeks. So that's okay.
The alcohol.
That's all right. Yeah.
We were a little drunk. I've sobered
up. Yeah, I'm feeling great now. I'm feeling fine.
Sound wonderful.
I'm on top of the world. I'm ready to do a podcast. Let's get on with it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Podtoid, episode number 100 and whatever. No, don't. That would be silly. Be silly to do another one. Fuck. No. Calm down. I'm feeling great. I'm ready to go out and begin filing tax returns.
I'm gonna buy a burrito and then write this VVVVV review. Hopefully it'll be good. It should be fun. Yeah.
See, he's got his night planned out. I'm on holidays. I'm just doing some laid back work, doing a bit of work for fun. This was the last Podtoid of 2011 as well, by the way.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
This is, so I get to be all witty and say, ha ha, see you next year, as people say when they think they're being so fucking clever on New Year's Eve. It's not clever, by the way. Anyone says that, you are legally allowed to cut them in the face. Just saying, guys, don't say that. But technically that is true. We will see you in 2012 when the world will end and the Mayans will rise from the dead and eat us. So that'll be fun. Look forward to that.
I've been thinking about the Mayans a lot lately. I'll save that for next week.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So you got that to look forward to, ladies and gentlemen. The Mayans next week will be the Mayan special.
It's going to be so good.
Thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen, as always. Thank you for getting Jonathan Holmes' lovely Christmas presents. Thank you for getting me lovely Christmas presents. And you can always get me birthday presents if you want. Just
When's your birthday?
January 1st. Just ask me on Twitter what my Amazon wishlist is, and I might tell you. And then, as I said earlier, it'll be your fault for doing that. So you'll be the one making me be shameless, which is, kind of like pederasty. So do that. Keep writing reviews for us on iTunes, please. They all help. If you want to buy the Android app, as I said, you'll get nothing out of it, but it helps us. That's on Amazon. Don't try looking for it on the Android marketplace. Some people still do. Don't do that. We had it on there. It didn't work. So just get it on Amazon, please. Check out Jonathan Holmes on Destructoid.com and myself on Destructoid.com. He's got a music album coming out for his Talking to Women to Video Games show. I am on a...
And a music video. 2 music videos, actually. Not to cut you off, but I just got an email that someone remixed the music video already, so there will be 2, hopefully, by Friday. And you were going to say, Jim, about your thing, the Jimquisition.
Awesome, yes. You can watch the Jimquisition on escapistmagazine.com. There's videos there every Monday. Fucking watch them. Come on.
How many of those have you done?
30.
Jesus Christ.
34. I'm contracted to get up to 50-something, and then maybe I'll take a break and try to handle something new.
I don't care what anyone says. Doing a weekly video series on your own. It's the first month, I got all this energy, keep going. 34. That is not a simple or easy task, Jim. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Jesus. Yeah.
But yeah, so lots of exciting things coming in 2012 from Jonathan Holmes and myself and Tara Long and Max Scoville, who aren't with us today, but will hopefully be here next week. So thank you for listening as always, and we will see you next week.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. That was funny. Silly noises. That makes podcasts fun.
It got a laugh out of me. I bit my tongue because if I started to laugh, I would have continued the show for much longer.
Tell you what else you'll be biting.